Hello, we are now live, and so let me turn my light on. So this is the perfect time to, I'm testing to make sure this is actually going out live. But please, if you're watching, give it a share. This is the Tattoo Collecting Podcast episode of with Todd Torres, the collector. And I want to just run through a couple of announcements while we collect some of our guests to Zoom in and let you know what's going on with all these Zooms and stuff. We have other upcoming shows that we're doing. Is not only is every Thursday at noon is the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with Fawn and Jordan and tattoo collectors. We also have paint jams. So this Friday, December 13th at 9 p.m. is the legendary Judy Parker painting. She's going to be working on a mermaid, but you could just bring your art and zoom in or just watch along. It's pretty sick. Actually, and Sundays are pretty awesome. Russ from Tattoo Smart is doing exercises beforehand, so you can block out your whole evening, go to the Tattoo Smart and click subscribe. Every Monday morning, the hashtag Reinventing Drawing Group gets together on Monday mornings at 9 o'clock Eastern with Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network. Tattooers all kind of beam in, they're doing their homework and drawing, drinking coffee, talking and stuff. It's the opposite of drink and draw, which is nice. Mondays at noon, we have Needle Jig. Mark is doing Let's Talk Tattoo, where he interviews different tattooers. Renee is coming up this Monday. Every Monday night, subscribers can join the Reinventing the Tattoo group exercises, where Guy and or guests are leading amazing exercises for people. Andre Malcolm was doing waves the last couple weeks, and it's pretty sick. So that's for subscribers, Reinventing subscribers. Then Tuesday, Guy Aitchison is going to be interviewing two people. Tommy Lee from Germany is going to be beaming in around noon. And then we believe Russ Abbott will be doing some interviews. So the point being, thank you very much to Reinventing the Tattoo Network for letting us and or not letting us, enabling us to broadcast all this. We do also have a couple sponsors to thank. There's a tattoo machine circling around in the background here, the Cheyenne Solterra. There's still time to enter for the raffle. So if you're a tattooer, you can go to tattooeducation.com/giveaway, but you have to give us all your studio info too and a couple other bits of information. But you can be entered to win a full tattoo machine with grip. It's like $700-800. It's amazing. Inkjet Stencils is also giving away samples. So if you are doing a tattoo and you want to see what their product looks like without getting, you basically have to get a printer, and it's eco-friendly. You fill up the inks and it prints out your stencils from the computer. It's pretty cool. But we can give out samples. So if you email Gabe, Gabe, Gabe at tattoonnow.com, your reference, then we could possibly send it in to win samples, and you'll get an inkjet stencil back. Okay. And actually, Reinventing the Tattoo is Guy Aitchison's massive resource, and it's, again, the reason why this exists. You should definitely subscribe if you are a tattooer or an apprentice. It has, his wealth of information, guest artists, again, the weekly exercises, plenty of perks. So, reinventingthetattoo.com if you are a tattooer to subscribe. And if you are in the chat rooms, please let us know where you're beaming in from. And I'm going to stop screen sharing and get joined by Jordan. Whew. Or Fawn, excuse me. Fawn, how are you?
I'm good. I'm here.
Okay, well, why don't you give us a little introduction while I make sure this is working in all the places?
Well, welcome to the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Today is our first all remote episode, I guess. We are not coming from the mothership at all. So I'm here in my living room. Jordan should be connecting anytime here shortly from hyperspace. And then Todd Torres. He's a super rad collector from the Detroit area. He's collected from so many cool artists. And then also he runs a few basically like tattoo influencer pages on Instagram as well. So, he said his
somebody
phone is
beaming in?
but his computer's up, so Todd should be joining us any moment.
Fantastic. And it looks like we are beaming out on all the Facebooks. and all of the YouTubes. We prefer to send everybody the YouTube. Well, Jordan, why don't you? Sorry, Fawn, why don't you let everyone know? Did you already let everyone know the best place to find Tattoo Collecting Podcast and all the replays?
tattoocollecting.com. So I've been working on a
Nice.
webpage for us to kind of communicate and keep up with the videos that we're sharing on our YouTube channel, as well as all of the reinventing videos. So just like a one-stop catch-all for any tattoo collecting related information. I'm sending Todd the link again right now so he can join us.
Awesome. Okay. Fun. Yeah, when I was checking out his tattoos as you were sending them over, I mean, I've seen him at all the tattoo shows, and I've seen his work in person. It's amazing, but it's always great to, to be reviewing the tattoos and be like, oh shit, another badass one. Oh shit, another badass one.
His collection is amazing. And he's one of those people that, like, when I first started going to conventions like Hell City and the Paradise Gathering and the Motor City Expo up in Detroit, I just would see him all the time. And I remember when he always loved getting on stage for the competitions early on, even like my first few years as a tattooer and as a collector. And just to see how his collection has grown from just like a few really good pieces with some like, older work in between to like just this immaculate, flowing like story that he lives in every day. It's really cool to see that progression on somebody else. So Todd's one of those collectors that, like, even though he collects a totally different way than I do, he's somebody that, like, even before I knew him, even before Derb introduced us, he's somebody that, like, as a stranger, I looked up to him, and just the way that like, you could tell his first few tattoos, maybe he didn't plan out, like, real estate like we talk about all the time. But now that he's so far down the path of his collection, it's all becoming such a cohesive thing. And it seems random, but if you have, 2 or 3 conversations with him, you start to realize that every single tattoo is important to him and every tattoo is part of his story. And he's just a cool guy to talk to. We talk about weed a lot when we talk as well. So that makes it extra fun for me.
Nice.
So before we went live a little bit ago, you were talking about one of your first tattoo stories, Gabe.
Oh yeah. Well, that wasn't necessarily one of my first European one. Actually, it was the first time I got to be a little bit careful. I don't want to shout through my daughter's in class. So if I'm like, it was the first time I smoked weed while getting tattooed. Yeah, so this is Tintin in the mid-90s. Or maybe must have been the late 90s. Or mid to late 90s, I don't know. It's a long time ago. I picked up a freelance computer gig working in Paris. And so as soon as I landed there, I was like, I got to go find Tintin. And, I walk into the shop. I find it, this, nice little spot. And, he was just right there. What do you want? I'm like, I want to get a tattoo. And he's like, well, I'm booked out 2 months. I'm like, I'm actually going to be here 2 months. So, I'd like an appointment. And he's like, okay, what do you want? I'm like, actually, he was speaking French. I can't make the accent. But anyways, he was like, what do you want? And I was like, oh shit, I hadn't actually thought about it, right? Like, I didn't actually expect to be able to get an appointment from him. And so I was, and at that point, Tattoo Smart, perfect. I need to get one of those. There he was, Tintin, and he was like, what do you want to get tattooed? And I was thinking, I'm like, well, I don't want to get anything on my arms or my back. At that point, I had gotten enough tattoos that I tested out enough waters that I wanted to, get something kind of standalone, but I didn't want to screw up any of my major body parts. So I was like, oh, well, my neck. How about my neck? And he's like, huh? Because I was wicked young. I didn't have like arm tattoos. I didn't have anything visible yet. But I was actually very thankful that he was just like, well, maybe that's when he told me he was booked out 2 months. He's like, well, I'm booked out 2 months. And I was like, okay, I'll put down a deposit. And so I put down the deposit, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't believe I'm getting my fucking neck tattooed. And I can't believe he's going to let me get my neck tattooed. But babe, I mean, I was like I said, looking back, I'm very thankful that he didn't like second guess or be like, oh kid, you need to have visible tattoos to get your neck tattooed or whatever. Anyway, so I spent 2 months working, and it was crazy. The job itself was nuts. But when I went back, they all thought I was going to get the cartoon Tintin. So I'm like, Tintin's going to tattoo my neck. They're like, why would you get a cartoon Tintin on your neck? And I'm like, you don't understand. It's a masterpiece. And they're like, it's a pretty cool cartoon, but but anyways, so then when I go back, I figured out whatever the price, was going to be, and I didn't have tons of dough, but I had saved up just enough, or he didn't really give me an estimate, but I saved up what I thought was going to be enough, and but it's like the quintessential tattooing experience, right? So I show up for my appointment like probably a half hour early, and he rolls in probably a little late. There's like a line, 3 or 4 people deep, so before we even get to my appointment, he's got to talk to this person, and he's talking to that person, and he's got to talk to this person. The guy in front of me turns around and holds up this big bag of weed, and he's like, French Riviera. And I was like, French Riviera, okay. But at that point, I had never consumed cannabis before receiving a tattoo before. But so to make a long story shortish, so that guy does his business or whatever, they all catch up, and then they start rolling up the fucking massive joints. And I'm just like, oh man, it was like the double size. I mean, nowadays you get a pre-roll, it's the size of a big massive pre-roll, but I wasn't used to it then. Again, I was, early 20s, maybe even late teens, and I had not smoked before getting tattooed before, right? So, and then all of a sudden, as I'm smoking it, it hits me that it's half tobacco. So part of me was like, oh, thankfully this is half tobacco, but I'm also not a cigarette smoker. So then all of a sudden I'm like getting the chills, I'm
You're
getting
getting
the
nicotine jitter.
getting the nicotine jitters, and then we sit down and he starts to tattoo my neck, and again, quintessential old school, like sits down, gets everything kind of set up, puts his gloves on, the phone rings, fuck, it's my lawyer or whatever, who it might be, and so then all of a sudden I'm like just kind of ticking away at the time. I'm like, oh man, like now it's been 4 hours, he's been tattooing me, but stopping, starting, stopping, and it's like now we're getting at 6 hours. I'm like, I don't have 6 hours of his hourly rate in my pocket, and so I'm freaking out just a little bit, and I swear I'm so paranoid at this point. I think he's tattooing "Stupid American" on my neck, and I'm like, oh no, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden when we were done, I looked at it, I'm like, oh my god, it's a beautiful bird. It's not like you didn't fuck with me at all. It's amazing. And he charged me for like the 2 hours that he tattooed me. So all of a sudden I was just like, oh my god, I'm not into this for an 8 hour tattoo. I'm in this for the 2.5 hours, and it was awesome. It was very fun. And he's he's a crazy motherfucker. And I'm ecstatic to see how he's obviously gone on to just keep pushing it. So and with that the Paris Tattoo Convention, man, that's each year that the Krakow convention goes by, I'm really sad that I miss it. But whenever the Paris convention goes by, I'm flogging myself. Like, how could you be a tattoo collector and not be in Paris right now?
That's how I feel about the London convention. I haven't been overseas at all. Like, I've been to Canada. That's the only country I've been. But I look forward so much to just jumping into those conventions when I have the chance. When we
do you have your passport?
No, not yet. Actually, I was going to get my passport this year so that I could like commit and go to the London convention this year. However, COVID happened.
Yeah, no, that's rough. The London show is, it's the best show that when you're at that level, there's only different flavors of the best, but, Mickey in the London show, he really is able to collect all of the different, schools and styles of tattooing and all the different crews and bring them all together. And I don't think people even fight. It's like they all just get together and they're all so happy to, be amongst such awesome other artists and other collectors that are out of control.
The just most upper echelon of artists, I feel like.
Yeah.
I just want to go there and experience it. I'd love to one day work with it, but like where I'm at now, I would love to just go and just experience it, breathe the air of all the artists I look up to,
Yeah, I mean, I think that if anybody wants to work the London show, they should probably go and attend it, and check it out for a couple of years, introduce themselves to the promoters and, submit work to Mickey's magazines. And, but again, mostly, when a lot of people are asking, how do I get into, Hell City or whatever, I'm like, well, have you gone to Hell City? And they're like, well, no, not yet. I just hear that it's awesome. I'm like, well, why don't you try going to it, check it out, and then introduce yourself to people, see Derb and say, hey, I traveled here just to come here and check it out and do some seminars, and it's an amazing show. Then when
looks
you
like
submit for it,
mine right now.
he's literally in the process.
Good.
It
All
says
right.
joining.
Joining. Good.
So let's see, we have a couple people in the chat room. Hunter Young, hey man, what's up? He's been catching tons of these streams. We've got Miss Raw Sauce, morning all. Hunter
Hello.
Young says,
There he is. What's up, homie?
What's going on, guys?
hey, how goes it?
How's it going, man?
Fantastic. I mean, despite the suffering and insanity.
Trust me, I know.
Cool. Well, hey, now that Todd's here, this is a good time for me to bow out. Thanks again, everybody. Michael Steele says, Hunter Young is saying, hey, have you guys heard of Martin Ninja on Instagram? And then we've got, Mark says, yes, the ganja makes him concentrate on the pain. So that does not work for him. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to bow out here, and then I might pop in every once in a while to relay what's coming in from the chat room. And I do have the tattoos fired up, so you let me know when you want me to screen share.
Oh, sounds good. We'll probably just naturally get into the tattoos with conversation. So if you're following along, we'll be able to bounce them on there.
Yeah, I'm a little behind, guys. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, Todd. That's
forever at the damn AT&T store.
It's okay. That's the first time we've really had a chance to talk to Gabe about any of his personal collection. So it was like a good little
some good
little
stuff.
opportunity.
Yeah, I need to roll some stuff up behind.
It's okay. I've been slacking. I haven't even had a chance to go get any lately, and I didn't want to leave my house, so I've got dabs.
Well, I got plenty of dabs.
All the hockey pucks, man.
Yeah, I got 3 different ones from Green Dot. So 2 batters and the diamonds in there. That's just the batter.
Like when I get like that sugary goodness or big diamonds, but I'll smoke the shatter too. It's cool. It's good.
Yeah, I get they got I actually got some really good. This is Green Dot from
Looks like earwax.
Colorado. Oh, it's awesome.
Nice.
So,
That was I like it's that earwaxy consistency.
the terps on these are insane, man. I mean, Green Dot is probably one of the best extraction companies in the country. It seriously is. When I get it, I'm already happy about it.
A lot of mornings, Todd and I just happen to be on Instagram together at the same time, and we'll see each other's active, and then we just start like. Usually, it's Todd bragging that he has better stuff than I do,
And that's true.
which is fine. You know, the funny thing is, I live in Ohio, but like I feel like all the best weed still comes from Michigan. The majority of what I smoke is making its way down here. So
Yeah, but see, that's just this. Yeah, I'm from Michigan, and I'm getting it from Cali.
from Cali,
Because it's hard. There's only a few good growers in the state.
yeah.
And to get a hold of them, you know, I got connections for them in that, but again, they're not consistent. You know, they'll be there 1 week, 2 weeks later, there's nothing there. So
Yep.
I'm sick of that.
Yep.
We're the legal state. I shouldn't have to be. And the dispensaries are just subpar.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. I feel like I experience when we went out to Oregon a few months ago. That's probably the best, not that I've been to a ton of dispensaries, but that's probably the best dispensary experience that I've had. I feel like the dispensary that I went to in Colorado Springs, it was just such a, like everything, like you could look at little samples, but everything, you couldn't touch it, you couldn't look at it. Where when we were in Oregon, because I don't know what the difference is, but everything was just, it was just like walking into a normal store. It was just like display cases, glass in front of us.
When's the last time you've been here? Because now it's a bit hard to even, they've got them in the jars where you pull it back and you could smell it through a little vent now. Before they used to be in just mason jars, and they open it up and you could smell it, touch it. Not no more. They won't let
Get
them in
that
the state no more. So, but it's legal. I don't have to worry about it no more. I can walk
Isn't that
around
nice?
with it. Oh, that's the best thing. I mean, I was talking to my buddy the other day, because I'm 54, he's 64. We've been friends for a long time. So, but we're like, we've been dreaming about this since we've been in our 20s when we were growing. It was like, this is awesome. We don't have to worry about it no more.
Do you remember the memes a few years ago that were like, if weed gets legalized, what are all the stoners going to talk about when they get stoned?
What good weed we got.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then it'll be,
What
thank
else
God,
is there?
legal.
See, I
Remember when
mean,
it was?
this is really good weed.
I need
This
to
is
take a
from
road trip up to visit you, man.
This tastes like orange, straight up oranges. Smells
Nice.
like oranges. Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, Jilly's
Um,
my favorite. Jilly Bean is the way to my heart.
oh, really?
So, yeah, Jilly Bean's my absolute favorite. So anything that's
Have you had
even
really?
similar to that, I love it.
Oh, you might like Sunday Driver then. Did I lose you?
Oh, yep. Looks like her camera
Okay.
might
Her
be
Oh,
out.
internet?
There
sorry,
she
guys.
is.
Oh,
I
there it
got
is.
caught into my iPad. Sorry.
Uh,
Silence that away.
but yeah, Sunday Driver, you might like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's definitely a strain that I have only gotten from California. Is that where that one came from?
Yeah,
Yep. It's probably been a year and a half since I've smoked that one. At least a
I
summer
love that
ago.
one. Well, the thing is with Cali, you get all those flavored profiles that they have out there. And that's just it. In Michigan, none of those guys get those terps out of the weed like Cali does.
There's a grower out there named Green Thumb Danny, and he was working on a new strain. And while he was working on that, my brother-in-law and I got to try out some different phenotypes. He sent like 6 or 7 different phenotypes of the same strain as he was just trying them. So it was really cool to be able to sit down and actually like write down notes and send them back to him. Like, oh, my opinion might matter. But
Oh yeah, it's like, but it does, I mean, we're the consumers. They should be asking us anyways.
mhm. So,
So,
Todd, we've been talking for
but
10
yeah,
minutes and we've only talked about weed. Before you came
yeah,
on,
of course, that's me.
that's me too, man. But before you came on, Gabe and I were talking about you as a collector, and I was talking about how, like, before you and I even knew one another, how I just kind of like looked up to you as a collector because I got to see how your collection grew over the years. I remember when your back was mostly open and you just had like that dragon, that older dragon-ish thing that you
Godzilla, it was Godzilla.
what is
It was
Godzilla? I
Godzilla.
thought it was either a dragon or a dinosaur. So
Yeah, it
like
was Godzilla and King Ghidorah.
so I just think it's cool to see how you're like I've always looked up to you and like just the balls you've always had to get up on stage and show your stuff off and just the pride you take in your tattoos. I've always admired that about you. So it's really cool to see like just the growth of your collection and then getting to know you a little bit, seeing how your collection is, each little piece is part of your story. So it's really cool. Like as random as it all looks, it only takes a few conversations to see that it's all just different facets of you.
Yeah, how do I, well, let me start from the beginning. My first tattoo was given to myself when I was in 7th grade in the palm of my hand, which is gone now.
7th grade.
7th grade in arts class with Indian ink and a fountain pen. It was all
Nice.
hand poke. Oh yeah, it was awesome. Oh yeah. So I did that, and that fell out, and I didn't get tattooed. I didn't get my real first tattoo until I was 25. No, actually, No, I was 28. Take that back. 28.
Wow.
It was a year after the accident. Yeah. So, and that was in Toronto. I walked into a shop and got some flash off the wall. And then about a year later, I started working on my Godzilla, and I never finished it. It was a biker dude out of his house, which he was actually pretty good. I mean, for a tattoo artist, for around here, he was reasonably well. But I didn't listen to him, so I went back and tried to color it in 2 weeks after I did the outline.
Mm-hmm.
And oh no, that was a mistake. That was a horrible mistake. Yeah, that hurt so bad. And then I said, well, I'll never. I was always going to get it redone, and I just held off. And 15 years later, I decided to get tattooed again, and I haven't stopped. Really, it's been nonstop. And again, I've never had no plan how I was ever going to do this. It's always been what piques my interest at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that plan their whole body out before they even start. I'm not one of those guys. I mean, if I was to do it over again, sure, I'd do it just like that. Would plan it all out. But, I'm happy with what I got.
I feel like for my
Seriously.
collection, I didn't have a specific plan, but I do, once my bodysuit is complete, I want it to look cohesive. I want it to look as if there was a plan to start with. And I feel like my torso's getting there. My torso looks like it.
Your torso is awesome. It is.
I'm trying.
The only thing, well, when I finally decided I was going to do the whole suit thing and I decided, well, you got to sort of figure out what you're going to do. And that's when Megan came in. And Megan's been able to make everything flow together.
How many years ago did you start collecting work for Megan?
It's 5 years now.
Okay, you've done
it would have been sooner, but things our schedules didn't meet up and things like that. But it would have been a year sooner. But actually, the waiting time actually worked out better. I got a much better tattoo than probably what I would have got the first time. So, but me and Megan, we just got a system that we do, and we just go about it. We never start on time. We're like, we get there. She tells me to get there at a certain time. I get there, and about 5 hours later, we might be starting.
From the way you talk about her, it seems like you and she have the relationship that I like to have with my clients. I like it when it's just like, show up at the appointment time, but we'll get started when we get started, and the day will go however it goes. No pressure, but every time it looks like every time you see her, you get huge amounts of work done. Though she did the cards.
Yeah, well, that's Megan though for you.
She did the cards.
She did that's a cover up.
And then
those two are cover ups. The cards and
the Godzilla's behind the
trip.
The Bassett.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A lot of work.
Nice.
Yeah. Marshall's in the middle there with Gynoid that Peter Grick was the original artist of that piece. And then my snails is Susanna Griggs. The leprechaun is John Wayne, and the birds are Alan Ramirez. And then you can see my little jaded moon down there.
I love the Peter Grick stuff. He's one of my favorite artists. He's actually one of the artists I've ever bought a painting from, because I couldn't swap a tattoo with him.
Yeah, I've always liked his work from very early on, because he used to do those more landscape type of things before he started doing other things. And I think the first time I seen him was in Omni magazine. Remember that? I think that's where I first seen his work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Omni article. That's amazing that he was published there. We feature some of his work in the Biomed Encyclopedia.
Yeah. Wow. Who's doing your chest?
Oh, my chest? This is
Yeah.
Nathan Marty. Out of
That's sweet.
Tree. Or well, he was at Red Tree. Now he's Hollow Earth. That's his new studio.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sweet. I like that.
Nice. Well, yeah, sorry we got on so late, guys. It's good to be on, though. Looks like you guys have been going strong here. Todd, it's good to see you again, man.
Nice seeing you.
I think last time was it like Philadelphia, Cleveland,
50 people
once,
watching. So.
the back of
Detroit.
I don't remember. It's probably Detroit. Yeah.
we were in the back of Fawn's van. I think that's where I met you.
Yeah.
Like, we should have just called this podcast the Back of Fawn's Van.
The back of I feel
Yeah, seriously.
home again. It brings me back.
Yeah. Shame Motor City isn't going to be going on.
Yeah, super bummed out about all that with everything that's going on with tattoo conventions right now.
What if we just got together in like the food court of the GM building and had our own tiny convention in the food court?
Yep.
Tiny one. We just
Yeah.
tattoo food
Just get
court.
a few homies together, not tattoo, but maybe set up cameras and like in lieu of the convention.
I see.
bet-
That's
Homies
I like-
that would make a road trip just for the sake of it.
whatever gets the homies together.
It's true.
We all need good time with our homies after all this. We've all been isolated.
Excuse me. Yeah. I'm missing. Excuse me, just a second. Oh, that dab got me. I'm missing a lot of my friends. Because I got a lot of character friends, and I miss a lot of them. I miss seeing Chuck. I miss seeing Tommy. Yuki. I mean, there's all kinds I miss. Then, I'm friends with the Hustle Butter owners, Seth and Richie. I miss hanging out with those guys. They're big pot smokers. Always a good time.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer.
You've been tuning into Richie's DJ sets?
Pardon me?
So Richie has been doing live DJ sets almost every day sometimes. Have you been tuning into those?
Oh, yeah. I watch them all the time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we're
the
just bragging.
Richie
Well-
Bulldog Radio, Hustle Butter Radio. I think he's on Periscope if people want to check it out. And he's on the Facebook too, but
Yeah,
Periscope.
that.
I showed him up.
Periscope's his main gig. Richie's always a fun time. So Seth. But yeah, conventions, I'm really missing them. I expected my suit to be done this year, and it's not. So,
Is that where you get most of your work?
and conventions,
Conventions?
it's 50-50. Megan's tattooed me at conventions. She's tattooed me at her shop.
Do you use it
Um,
or
like
just enjoy it? Like the opportunity, like because like the artists in town are close to you or something, or is it just because you just love the atmosphere and being there?
It's convenient. Well, it's where they're available. Basically, where they're at, that's where I'm at. So if it's at a convention, I'm there. If it's at a studio, I'm there.
Yeah,
Once you get to a certain point of getting tattooed,
it's a sentence.
getting into the other name artists is easy for a collector. So
Absolutely.
I don't have that huge wait time that everyone else does. So it's been pretty easy for me to do my schedule them and good to go. I may book out 3 to 4 months with them and that's it. The longest I had to wait was for Bob, Tyrell, and John Wayne. And I had to wait a year when I made my appointments for those two.
Wait,
The rest of them pretty easy.
worth it.
Well, my first big name was Randy, and when I tattooed
Yeah.
Randy Engelhart, and when Randy, I got tattooed at him in ink and iron. And what was funny about that is it was only like 3 months before the convention, and I sent him an email just for the off chance, and he had an opening. And I really didn't expect it. And I got in at Ink and Iron, and once I got that tattoo, I was hooked forever. I wasn't stopping.
Yeah,
That tattoo changed my life.
that's gnarly. That's awesome. I love this one. Who
It's a
did
way
that? That was
I
him.
mean, it was. No, that's not the one. It's the green woman. I don't even know if I sent the green woman in.
Okay.
It's on the other side, on my other leg. You can see a pin of it on my right leg, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Randy's a machine. If of all of my tattoo artists, and no offense, Megan, well, she knows this, he's the most professional out of them all. I mean, he's right on time every time. He don't really take breaks, and he just works his ass off.
Yeah.
Everything's set, you get there, he's ready to go. He's, not that I'm complaining, because I'm happy with all my artists. It's just that he is a machine.
Right. He's got his system.
Yeah. And I was making fun of Megan, because Megan, if you've seen her travel case, it's a mess. I mean, it's horrible, man. I mean, it's like someone just took it and dumped it in their suitcase, and that was it. So after I got my last session, Randy had all this set up. Sullen's got these bags now for artists, and Randy had them, and everything's all compartmentalized. His inks, Randy's got his own product, so he had that with him. But it's all perfectly set up, and it don't take a lot to fill a suitcase with it. Not like Megan. Megan's got a full size suitcase, and it's a disaster. So I made fun of her, and I said, "Hey, Megan, look at this. This is how you're supposed to do things." Oh, she thought that was real hilarious. Yeah, but it's funny. I always joke with Megan, because we're good friends, and she's tattooed more than the most on me.
Tattoo.
I've got the most hours with her. I've got,
I love her landscapes, man. She's a few years ahead of me, but she's definitely always been an artist that, like, I think she chases a lot of the same things that I do in my own work, but it's really cool to see, like,
Yeah, I wasn't.
I've always her, I think.
Well, now that she's out in Salt Lake, she's been doing a lot more different things than her surrealism, because that's what she's mostly known for. Like that bird right there. I mean, yeah, you can see Megan in there and that, but again, it's not. It would be, if I looked at that and someone said, "Who did it?" I would not think that was Megan.
Yeah.
Now that I would.
That's dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that T-Rex down there.
Yeah.
The binary code and the DNA. That's cool touch.
Yes, it is. Megan does some amazing little cool touches in her tattoos. She does. The first tattoo I got, Insatiable, I don't think I sent that. I might have sent that one, but it's her. That's actually her hand in that picture, in that tattoo. She took a picture of it and put it in it.
Yeah, so many of the daydreams that she makes. I mean it in the most respectful way. I feel like I've been chasing her like my whole career. But there's stuff where it's like, oh, yeah, if she can do it for sure. I love her work.
I do too. It's her landscapes are amazing. Her sunsets are amazing. Her surrealism is really amazing.
Wow.
And she tries different styles, which is kudos for her, considering, she really don't have to. Once you get set as an artist, you really don't stray outside that comfort zone that you're in. that's not a dig at artists. It's just how you go about doing your work.
Yeah, great. What
I mean,
people unfamiliar with.
it's like Fawn and, Russ Abbott in your back. It's very unique. And
It's
Russ
definitely,
Abbott's work is unique.
definitely, I don't know, strike of genius I couldn't have imagined. Like, I feel like I gave him some ideas and inspiration, but I couldn't have imagined what he dreamed up. And then I also, I could have imagined symmetry, but I couldn't have imagined in any way that there would be like 8-sided symmetry and it would still be that interesting and beautiful to look at. There it is.
That back.
Yep. Look at that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Add it up.
I think that's me. There's that little white strip on that underneath my butt cheek. That's now filled in. It's all solid and cohesive now. Adam's like, "Do you want me to tattoo 2 inches?" I was like, "Well, yeah, because yeah."
Yeah, I get that. I love the color, how he did the colors, and I like the touch of blue in the back.
That is Bermuda blue, if anybody wants to know. Bermuda blue.
What kind?
Bermuda blue. Russ enunciates it in a very particular way when he says that.
I'm sure he does.
Bermuda blue. Look at that icosahedron.
Buddha or Bermuda?
Bermuda.
Bermuda.
Bermuda blue. No, he doesn't say it with any Southern accent at all. I added that myself.
Bermuda.
It's worth noting that Tuesday, I believe, Russ will be doing an interview with Guy Aitchison in the evening. So, well, at one point or another, Russ is going to be getting on one of these shows.
Nice.
That's nice to hear.
So it's good to hear what Russ has to say.
Yeah. What I like when we're at Phoenix, he comes out and plays his banjo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Russ is a good guy. Yes. Amazing.
I've met him a couple times.
When you get more work done,
I don't know. One day I'll get a piece by him. Hopefully, if I got a space open for him. I'm starting to close in on my space.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I mean, I've got bits on my leg, and then I got this bit on my right side here, which Megan's going to fill in, and then I'm done. I mean, I'm not doing my pits. I'm not doing my armpits. I'm 54. All this is newer, younger kids. I mean,
I'll do your armpits.
No,
I'll treat them gently as Guy treated mine.
Yeah. Oh, that just.
I would put equal amazing portals in your armpits. Very gentle.
Well, Megan's already said that to me. She goes, "You got to do it." She yells at me all the time.
Armpit portals. Like if you're going for full coverage, you got to do something super interesting with that space. And I don't think there's anything more interesting than a whole new space.
No, I get that. But here's the point though, too, is that I'm older.
Nice.
And when you're younger, it's easier to take this shit.
It is, I think that
I started this almost 10 years ago. And
totally different.
And when I started it, I ran into Yalzi early, and he goes, as you get older, it's going to hurt. And I go, really? He goes, oh, yeah, watch. And I really didn't believe it because I thought, pain's pain. Why would it change? Well, past couple of years, I pretty much just hate getting tattooed anymore.
Yeah, you got the worst of it too, man. You got a lot of pieces, and they're highly detailed, super layer upon layered pieces.
Yeah.
So, I mean, only the worst of it. Most of it.
At least you've got the back and butt cheeks out of the way. Butt cheeks are pretty horrible.
Oh, the back's the worst. I did my ribs in that, but I think I struggled more with my back than I did my ribs. I mean, that's 10 hours right there with Anam and Megan.
Oh, that's dope.
One session.
Yeah.
So, it's not like I can't sit because I can. But now it's just a struggle. I mean, that cover up with Megan, the last 2 hours, I was just basically screaming the whole last 2 hours of it. She goes, "You all right?" And I said, "Get through it. We'll get through it. Just keep doing it. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Just do what you gotta do."
Yeah. Gonna be me later on today.
I miss it now, though. I haven't been tattooed since Jada Moon was really my last tattoo that I got, and that was in the end of February, last day of February.
Okay.
Well, and then I had a touch up, but 20-minute touch up don't count.
No.
It don't. So yeah, I March I had a touch up with Johnny with this arm, and
What's on that arm? What is that?
it's my space arm.
Space arm. Oh yeah, we were just looking.
Yeah, you're just looking at it,
So dope.
and that's a cover up too. He did that. He just basically reworked the sleeve and covered up the one spot that I want to cover it up. I wish I would have discovered him sooner, because actually his space stuff is just getting it. He's one of the top, in my opinion, one of the top space guys out there now.
Yeah.
If you want space,
space work.
yeah, it's
Judging by
first
that-
rate. Pardon me?
Already- What?
You clipped out, that's all.
I was just saying, judging by that piece, that I can definitely tell he's a super dope space artist. He's got that down.
He does. He really got it down. And he's got his own studio here in Ferndale, Michigan, Dark Sky Studios. He's in there with girls. Shh, my
Our
dog.
dogs were all behaving so well for a while, and now they're all going nuts at the same
Well,
time.
my wife just came in, and that's why. Well,
Mine
they
went
didn't. That's behaving, because usually they screaming up a storm.
Did you see that big nasty possum someone hit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. This is who's doing this? Is this John?
Johnny Andres did this,
Yeah, cool.
and the
Great.
skull's a cover up.
So good.
So,
He's a real nice guy too.
he is. He's a real nice guy, down to earth. He works really well too. He's one of those guys that on time, and just does what he needs to do, and he gets you out of there. So who's got anything scheduled for tattoos? Because I actually don't have anything scheduled yet. I'm talking to Megan. I'm probably going to do, because I'll be getting the vaccine as soon as it comes out. I have reasons, because I have a handicapped son that has a compromised immune system, so he'll be at top of the list. And since we're his caregiver, we'll get it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the tattoo seat right now. Guy's about to do my back. I'm in it for the next.
I thought you were at Guys, man. I'm looking at that going, and then I thought that was Guy, and I'm going, seriously.
Like, who's that guy talking?
Mask. Everyone's got a mask on, so it's like near impossible to know.
That's funny. That's really
who they
funny.
are.
Already talked about it beforehand, and it was already assumed, or what? Because we didn't really do much of introduction. I was waiting for you guys to finish your conversation. Well, hey guys, I'm at Hyperspace Studios at getting tattooed by Guy Aitchison. So that's what's going on today. And
He's here.
and all day tomorrow.
There's a guy that I wish I got tattooed. What's Guy?
You wish you
know,
got.
I never got a Yeah, he never responded to my emails and that. So,
Send it.
and,
He does
and I'm
a
not
great
getting any.
Todd.
What'd you
What?
ask? Did you ask him for?
He does a great job with armpits, Todd.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. Oh, everyone says that.
Have you
Peer
seen
pressure
Fawn?
don't work. Just so you know.
Have you seen Fawn's pits, Todd?
Yes, I watched her get them done.
It wasn't that bad. Not compared to the back. Like, after going through what you went through on your back, the armpits are so much more superficial. It's hot, but it's superficial. It's not like the back or the middle of the chest.
That deep, almost deep pain.
Yeah, you know how like the wrist is
Yeah.
hot, but it doesn't rock your soul? Would be comparable to that. The ribs get exhausted, but your rib pieces come up pretty high. Mine didn't.
Mm-hmm.
No peer pressure, Todd. No peer pressure.
But see, that's just it. I mean, like my ditches on the back of my legs didn't hurt.
I didn't think mine were bad at all.
Everyone else
old for me.
Yeah, it was easy. The healing them was the worst part.
I had one bad heel, but the rest were all.
No, it was funny when Megan did the satiable, because there's so much black in my ditch there. It healed really hard and it started cracking. My skin pulled apart.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. And I seen Yalzi and down at in Fort Wayne. He goes, "Don't worry about it. It will heal perfect."
Yep.
And I'm going, "Really?" Because I was worried about it. He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. Watch." And he was right. It did.
Yep, I call that the magic to the heel. Yeah, I had
healing's the healing's the key to a good tattoo, though. That's just it. If you don't heal it right, it's not going to look good.
Speaking of healing, here we go. Damn.
Look at those fingers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Those are
hurt. Yeah.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, it gets down close. Yeah, close to the cuticle there. Oh man, that was a whole new level of pain. And thank God it's so, it's not very much, so he ain't there for very long at all. But
your soul, man.
Yeah, it's touching your soul on that one. But my hands didn't hurt.
That's so sick. How did it heal?
I thought it healed good, actually. Let me see.
Let
me see if I can do that.
Oh yeah.
You just have to move slowly.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
It's just one pass too. I mean, you always know you're going to do another pass on your hands. It's just the nature of your hands. But Jack had the immigration problem, so he hasn't been back here yet. So hopefully I'll have it done since COVID. He should be able to get it all taken care of, and he'll be back next year, hopefully. And I can get that other pass done. But I'm happy how they healed because, I mean, some of it fell out, but not a lot. Some in the middle of my webbing on my fingers.
Does yours come in between here?
Yeah.
Like right deep in there?
Yep.
Yours goes pretty deep too.
Yeah.
I felt like
that was a bit hard.
It's a special. You feel like the needle's going all the way through that little pancake of skin. It hurt so bad.
But Jack's gentle. I mean, in reality, Jack's a real light-handed tattooer. He is. But, that's the nature of black and gray, too, though. Color is so much more intense. Where black and gray, I could sleep through that shit. And I have. When I got in black and gray. Actually, on my ribs, I slept for an hour when Megan and them were doing that. I did fall asleep for a little bit.
I love when my clients fall asleep on me. I can't fall asleep on a tattoo, though. I wish I could.
Also, just real quick, that's Jack Connolly that did that tattoo?
Yeah.
Which Jack?
Yeah.
Connolly, yeah, cool.
Yeah, Connolly.
And he tattoos with Sam Barber, is that the truth?
Yeah, they pretty much. Yeah, I think they're in the same studio. I'm not for sure. I thought they were, but
he's great. Wait, actually, you know what? Let me fire him up here.
pretty sure they are.
Boom. Oh, now all of a sudden I'm like on people's websites here. Boom.
Yeah. He must have just posted that. I don't think I've seen that one yet. That's pretty sweet.
That's rad. I haven't seen
That's
that.
that's on Arlo.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that's on Arlo.
Well,
Yeah, that is sweet.
I love it. The scenes just flow seamlessly one into the next.
yeah.
Well, he was a
gonna come over
painter
for the-
before. He was a painter before he decided that he was going to tattoo.
He was gonna come over for the Rock River show that guy was gonna put on, but obviously tattoo shows are on hold for a while.
Yeah.
For a while, yeah. I don't think that you're going to see one until maybe at the end of September at the earliest next year.
Yeah, I've got the Brussels tattoo convention scheduled for next November. So I'm figuring it's a year from now. Can get vaccinated sometime over the summer, maybe. Maybe by next November, for me.
I'm hoping, I'm sick of sitting at home. I'm used to traveling I go, I'm on the road all the time. My job, I play poker, so I out to Vegas a lot, and being stuck home is really getting tiring. And I have to be even more diligent than most because my son's compromised immune, so I have to take serious precautions just to protect him.
Yeah, no kidding.
But this is a lost year. I mean, we've never experienced anything like it. It's been an eye opener for sure on how people view life, I guess. I mean, look at you're wearing a mask. I mean, in Michigan, it's a 50-50 thing if you see people wearing a mask or not.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't walk into a place here in Ohio without someone yelling at you.
Yeah, they're pretty strict. At least in Columbus, in the smaller towns outside of the city, they're not quite as strict about it. But in the
You
city,
guys have but Columbus got a high COVID problem though, right? I mean, your hospitals are almost tanked out. My two hospitals in here are.
it shot straight up, and I don't wonder if it's because of people from surrounding communities just coming to Columbus because Columbus has better hospitals. Like, my family lives an hour away from the city, and they don't even waste their time with a local like Band-Aid station. They just go to Columbus. So I wonder if that's not what made it skyrocket so quickly, because I think the actual number of cases is now, I don't want to say better, but reasonable with surrounding areas.
Well, that's good. Both my hospitals are at 100% capacity. It's just skyrocketed in Michigan again. It's just, and now we're going to go on another extended, sort of lockdown. I mean, still businesses are opening that, but like movies, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Which I'm surprised
that's officially not lockdown.
I know, but that's what they're trying to say. I get it. But, in this day and age, no one wants to do anything, and I get it. People have to make a living. How do you balance public health with people earning? I feel sorry for a business owner right now. My dad's got his shop. He was off for for what, 3 months? They couldn't cut hair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know the bars, the restaurants, all of that, they're super struggling. Those that can be compliant, I don't know. I just feel bad for any business owner, but I feel like they're especially hit in Michigan for some reason.
Well, I mean, you only got so many summer months where you can be out in the open, and then after that, you're stuck indoors all the time.
True.
I mean, it's winter.
You guys got snow right now?
So, nope. We did though, but it
We
melted.
had a little.
I'm tired of it, man. I mean, I'm not looking forward to winter at all because we're stuck inside even more than what we are. I can't go play poker. That's what's driving me insane. I can't play. I haven't been able to work. I haven't worked since we started. I'm just lucky that I've made enough that I can sit. I'm not, bleeding to death like most people. I can be okay. Now, come September next year, that'd be a different story. If I'm not working by then, well, then we're going to have a different story talking about. But right now, I'm okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's all right. That's the situation. So many people. It's real.
well, I want conventions just to get up and running. I mean, I'm sure that I don't think we're going to have the big conventions that we used to have in the past. I think there'll be a much smaller scale, probably.
I agree.
I mean, Tramp thinks they're done because of this. Tramp thinks that conventions are done. I've heard a couple of people say that. I don't. I hope not. I like going to them. They're fun. You meet like-minded people. We all get to show off all our stuff, and there's more collectors out there than just me that have even more amazing work on them.
Well, like outside of tattooing, conventions are a very real thing, and gatherings are a super real thing. So, like outside of our community, it's gonna have to be possible again. So once it's finally possible again to gather en masse, then tattoo conventions will come back. But I think being done is kind of out of the question. I think there's too many people that are too excited, and there's a whole. I don't know. There's a whole like economic factor of the tattoo conventions too. So many people make so much of their money touring the country during convention season, or that's when they get their name out there, their product out there. I think it's just necessary.
Well, James Fawn.
Work. What about James?
That's what James. That's where most of his tattooing where he works is at conventions.
Just on the road, yeah.
You don't have, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel bad for a lot of artists out there.
I think it'll definitely come back. I just hope it doesn't take super long. But like even when we're allowed to, there are going to be a lot of people that are afraid.
But you guys are still working, right? I mean, you're not lacking clients right now over this, are you?
Oh,
because most of the artists that I see that are working, they're working like they normally been working.
Mm-hmm. I think we book far enough out, and we've got like enough clients with good relationships that we're at least at our studio. I think we're all comfortably busy without even being worried about taking anything new on. So when it's clients that you have an established relationship with versus clients walking in off the street, I think that's a different variable. We have that one connection a day versus however many people walk in and out of the shop.
Yeah.
So I think we are fortunate at our studio that we're not really affected that much, but I think we're of the lucky group of shops.
Yeah.
What do you think, George?
Well, I mean, even in my town,
how's it going?
Hey, Guy, how are you?
Doing good, bud. Getting ready to tattoo here.
Todd didn't realize it was you last time. We didn't do our proper introduction.
No.
Hi, Guy.
It was informal. How's it going? Yeah, I'm just
good.
My final prep for George. Plug in and do 6 hours. So yeah, I'm pretty geeked about it because I'm really into this project, and I got to try some new things on it. So and I got a couple cover-ups, which I enjoy the crap out of cover-ups. I don't know why, but yeah, I've been listening in the background about your collecting story. It's good stuff.
This seems to be the year cover-ups, man. I mean, I know a lot of people that's what it's been. They all just been covering up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, and I mean, I've had 4 sleeves done. You know what I mean? It's just that's part of the collector's journey. You don't know what you like at first, and some people do. Some people actually. I mean, I've had some people here that did their research, and they're going to come get their first sleeve, and they have no other ink on them at all. And they've done their research, and God bless them. There's going to be a few people that do that, but most of us. Have had this other experience where there's some trial and error. Yeah.
Hey, I got 2 cover-ups on me, so yeah, I know. You learn as you go along doing this. That's another thing. You learn what's good, what's not, who's competent, who's not.
Was going from the getting smaller area tattoos, smaller tattoos. When I started getting into a more larger scale type thing, you start even if you got pieces that you did before, it's when you start wanting to work in an overall theme, then it's, I start to feel okay, I'm willing to sacrifice this piece and get rid of this piece because this overall piece is going to be way more worth it. And I'd rather not work around some of these pieces. That's here or there with everyone's tattoos and, to each person. But for the most part, when I started to think about bigger pieces, that's when I really started to think about, covering up old work.
Right. Actually develop a vision for your overall collection. Then you start to look at, what do I need to do with my existing? What can I keep? And Adrian Lee, he's got this interesting thing he does with people when he meets with them for the first time. He'll get out this kind of body chart, and it's just like a blank human form standing there, right? And and then say, okay, what do you have already? You've got this big piece on this upper arm, you've got this little piece on your forearm on the other arm, and you've got this little thing on your chest. Okay, so if you wanted to completely balance look, we would need to map out, this much of both arms and this much of both sides of the chest in order to create a completely unified look. Now we can expand from there. We can go larger on the chest, we can go farther down on the arms, but this is your bare minimum for a unified. So what do you have here that you absolutely have to save or keep, and what do you want to cover or are willing to cover? And so then he'll go through that whole process with them and make sure that they've had a chance to think through their existing collection, their desired collection, and what compromises, cover-ups, or changes they might need to make in order to arrive at that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I like all of that. That's very well said. I think that's all very true.
Jordan and I are
what a valuable tattoo collector's honestly, because if sometimes you can think about these things earlier on, you might end up being able to go for those bigger pieces that you want, but I don't know, sometimes having the balls to cover up some older pieces for the sake of newer pieces. But I would never want to talk anyone out of the tattoos that they have or say anything about anyone's tattoos. I just like that opportunity to work for, even when you have work that you're pretty happy, you're okay with, or just don't like it all. You have that opportunity to just still do super spectacular.
When you're about, just with the speed in which the possibilities of tattoos are is growing. What was a good tattoo 20 years ago? What would have been the best tattoo 20 years ago? And there are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but what would have been the best tattoo at any show 20 years ago wouldn't even make it into the top 10 today, just because of what's possible, because the technology's changing, the technologies that are available to us, the color qualities are getting so much better, the machines are more consistent. What was good could just be better. You know what I mean? Sometimes I like looking at old tattoos that sometimes somebody's unhappy with it, or they're not, like you can tell they were happy with it when they got it, but they didn't know what was possible. And sometimes it's like, well, we don't have to cover it. We can enhance it. We can make it new again. And I think that's something that's always really magic to consider, because sometimes it's not, sometimes it was a great tattoo to start with, but time happened. You know what I mean?
Well, time is the killer of all tattoos. I mean, I have quality work on me, but some of it is now almost 10 years old. And now you can start to see the age of it. Not that it's not looking great and still looks as good as it was done, but if you get right down to it and close up, you can see where certain areas are starting to fade a little. You know, just getting old looking. That's it. So I've always figured that once I'm done with my suit, that I'll just go back and have it all refreshed. You know, I can't ever see myself covering up what I got on me now. I mean, to me, that would just be a affront to the artist that has worked on me.
Work is so amazing. Like, I would, oh, your work's amazing. I wouldn't even, like, you still, like, your bodysuit is in itself kind of this overall encompassing piece like that, because of, you know, the dedication and the artist that you've went to with the pieces that you big and so dope. I couldn't see you. I
couldn't see it. I mean, I can't be Yalsey, and then this is no offense to Yalsey, but you know, Yalsey goes over what he's got, and you know, and I'm not saying that that's bad or anything, but I always worry because of how his suit is. It's mostly black and gray. The more you go over it, how long before it's just black? I mean, that's just. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong there, but you know, to be fair,
predicted, I think that's going to happen. I feel like he's just getting tattooed until it's all black, and then he'll start coming over the black with color or white or something. I think he's just. I love the evolution of his bodysuit, but I love
Yalsey. I think he's an amazing guy, and I love what he's done. On me, I can't do that. I just couldn't do that. I mean, it'd be like going over you know, like Mona Lisa and putting a mustache on him. You know?
You know, I got to rework a 30-year-old black and gray piece that I had done just the other day. And it was kind of interesting because when I did it 30 years ago, it was like one of my best pieces. We got featured in this book and everything else, and I got clients because of it. And so, you know, here she is 30 years later, and you know, I had gone a little light with it. It was kind of like a no outline black and gray piece. I was trying to be Jack Rudy, but I didn't have his abilities, right? So going over it again, I feel like I just brought it back to where it needed to be. I didn't make it black.
Were you able to just tell it to be quiet and it went down?
It sometimes works. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if it's that much different with color work, but you know, the thing is passes, the work is getting lighter and lighter, and so when you work over it, you're not necessarily making it darker than it was originally, although sometimes people feel inclined to do that just so that it doesn't fall out as much with time. I really honestly think the key is contrast, which isn't just going dark, but having light areas too in between the dark areas and planning that out in a way that there's a strong, clear rhythm from a distance, right? So it doesn't look like, you know, just a big dark mishmash. That's not contrast, that's just dark. There's a big difference between dark and contrast, you know? So you can go even darker with your areas, just leave your light areas clear and open. And you're not necessarily going to be on a path towards a black bodysuit that way.
Here, you want to show, before you do that real quick, show the camera what we're about to work on?
This is the mock-up for Jordan.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you can see how I've drawn into a photo of Jordan so I could get the shape right. And the middle part is something I put together in ZBrush, 3D modeling program. Yeah, I don't know how that actually. I mean, what happens then is it just gets smaller on the screen with black bars to either side. So.
True.
But yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to see that done.
We've got a good start on it, which means we don't have to put any time into stencils or, picking my way carefully through the outlines so I don't lose the stencil. Instead, we can just dive right in. So I'm psyched about today.
Yeah, I'm super psyched. I'm as psyched as can be, but I know it's going to be a day.
Right, yeah, we're starting in the middle of the back. We're not using any pre-numbing.
We're going to get the worst of it out of the way.
And I'll be using some numbing stuff for the armpit areas later on in the session. And I use Bactine throughout the day, so, it's about the best we can do. I've now got the reference in place, and I just need to run the razor real quick, and we're gonna go. Yeah, so like, when I say I had 4 sleeves done, I had a bunch of lasering done, which means, the cover-ups didn't have to go darker, In fact,
Yeah.
The left arm, which you can't see very much up here, but, even just seeing a tiny bit of it, you can see how much contrast it's got. Big dark and light areas in grime. And they made a point of making this thing as bold and contrasty as they could. So, the lasering allowed them to put some really big open light areas into the design. You can't always do that.
You got to go potty.
I have my right arm.
I'll be right back, guys. I got to let my dogs out.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, girls.
Right.
Come on, girls.
So, yeah, the right arm did not laser light, so I had to go a little bit stronger with that design. I couldn't have open areas in it. So, every cover-up is different, and it doesn't necessarily have to take you on that path towards a black bodysuit.
Yeah.
You just have to think that way.
Right. Open to what it takes to get it to look awesome without being totally blacked out.
Yeah, that's why I like my acid sheet that Megan did, because it's got a lot of color in it. And it does sort of radiate off my back, which I like.
Yeah.
Well, Megan did her whole back, my wife's back. And my wife has that skin that's perfect for tattooing. Colors just pop off of it like neon. And, I've always been jealous about that because, I'm mixed. I'm half Mexican, half Irish. So I do have some brown in me. So, I still look pretty good in color, but not like my wife. And my wife's got an amazing collection of herself. I mean, she started doing it after I did it, and she's only gone to great artists. She doesn't have a bad tattoo on her at all. Boris has worked on her, Megan,
Sometimes
Randy.
Doing research as it is being around people who know what they're doing. And, I'm guessing she got to go to some conventions with you and meet these artists and develop, a really good sense of what was available before she started collecting.
Yeah, she, when she said she wanted to do it, I know my wife, she don't like a lot of pain. So I was sort of skeptical when she decided she was going to do it. So I sort of consciously made a choice for her to go to the artist that did my right sleeve, Jason Peacher. And he did a medium-sized tattoo on her, nothing really big, but enough to make her realize that this is real and it takes time and you have to sit through it. And she did her 5 hours, did it no problem. And after that, she went gangbusters. She did a whole sleeve. And then Randy Engelhart worked on her, Marshall Bennett. I'm trying to think of who else is on her. Boris and Robert. I can never say his last name right. It's Polish. Wisnik, I think it is.
Okay.
He's in Canada, but he used to be in Ireland, and then he moved over to Canada. He's really good. John Wayne worked on her. Wow, I'm trying to figure out who has all worked on her. Who else has worked on you, Lisa?
I think you covered them all.
I did.
I think you covered them all. 'Cause I got Marshall,
Yeah, I got Marshall.
Forrest.
Yep. Oh, Steve Butcher too.
Oh, Steve, yeah.
And then Hollywood Homicide. Yep, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty good lineup, man.
Yeah. She's actually got a really amazing collection.
I don't have one cracky tattoo.
Yeah, I know. We know that. I already said that. She's proud of the fact that she ain't got any crappy tattoos.
Not one.
Yay.
Team No Cover Up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm sort of jealous of it because, you know, her skin's just perfect for tattooing. She's just got, every artist looks at it and go, yeah, I want to tattoo you.
Fair. Nice.
Well, what's funny is when we're in public, right? They don't come to me and say, look at my tattoos. It's her. My wife gets all the attention. I just laugh. And they don't even look at me. They just go after all that. Because she's got this Winnie the Pooh sleeve. And everyone just goes goo goo gaga over it. And I'm going, you know, I sort of just laugh about it. Because, you know, everyone loves Winnie the Pooh. And the reason my wife got Winnie the Pooh for her sleeve is I have a severely handicapped son from a car accident. And he has severe brain damage. So his mentality is really only of a 7-year-old, you know, 5 or 7-year-old. So, you know, we figured, you know, we have to take care of him and that it'd be nice for him to see the Pooh sleeve. So that's what she got. It was for our son.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh, Jordan, I keep looking at your back and I'm imagining what's to come next.
Yeah, me too.
I keep like scooting in close to the screen whenever it jumps to Jordan so I can see what they're about to get into. All I can see is your armpit though.
Sorry.
Wish I was there. I wish I was there.
Wait, I don't know if I could respond right to it.
Yes. It was beautiful.
Here goes.
I do miss that whole thing. Yeah. I've been watching all my buddies getting tattooed lately, and I'm going, oh, I so wish I could go do that. I wanted to be done this year. I wanted to be my suit done by the end of this year. I really did.
I bet you'd be glad you didn't though, because now you can still go work on it, right?
Yeah, but I'm a year older, and as you get older, it's just not any more fun anymore.
You know what though? I still get tattooed a few times a year.
It's just not. I'm not gonna lie about it.
You know, and so I try to just deal with it, and it's all just reworking stuff I've already got, you know. And I'm working with good friends of mine. You know, a lot of the time, Don McDonald and Steve Morris, those are excellent guys that we've tattooed each other a lot, so it's about as chill as it can get, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's still a journey to get to it each time, and I feel like in some ways I owe it to my clientele to put myself through that, because I think about their endurance a little bit more when mine is at stake, you know. In fact, I really recommend every artist should get tattooed at least once in their own
Yeah,
little
I
state.
get, you know,
That's a good
I think
idea.
it froze. Guy did, but no, it's like when I'm getting tattooed by Megan and I'm whining about it. She's going, "Look at Todd. Look at my back. I sat through it. How do you argue against that with your artist?" You know?
Yeah, well, I mean that's part of it, and of course, those tattooers that don't get tattooed very much or at all, you know, there's not very many of them, but I just feel like it's a lot harder for them to ask that of their clientele.
No, and that's why I like Megan, because if there's one artist out there that I know that knows it because of that back piece, you know, it's her. You know, she's pretty tattooed more than, you know, you know, you're a guy. Are you really gonna sit there and say, "Oh, a girl's gonna outsit you"? I mean, you know, that's the ego part. You know, and I got an ego. I play poker, so you know, she knows how to push my buttons, I guess.
Yeah, I just always remind myself that biologically, women are just better able to deal with pain than men. You know, we don't have to give birth, so
No,
I just accept that they're going to outsit us,
It's true.
and that's just what it is.
Always true.
they do. They definitely can take it better than we can. I mean, you know, I've seen them, plenty of women get tattooed over you know, through conventions and that, and you look at them and I'm going, wow, they don't even flinch. And that amazes me because, you know, it's when I first started doing this, I could handle the pain. And, you know, I think when it turned where I got 50% of my body coverage, it just started. I don't know if it's just a mental thing. You know, you get tired. I don't know if it's, I don't want to say tired of it, just you have to build yourself up to get tattooed. You realize it's a process. You realize you're going through all that pain and that, and you accept it. You know, you're excited about it. When you first get tattooed, you get a new piece, you're always excited about it, and you can get through it. But you know, the more you get tattooed, I don't think that excitement is as real as it was at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that there is a point where you've had enough work done in a short enough period of time that you get a little bit needle shy. It's just your body's way of saying, "Give me a fucking break, dude." And so then we take a break, and then it comes back. A lot of that excitement can come back. You know, sometimes it might take a few years or a decade or whatever. I've definitely had clients that have taken a break. It usually has something to do with parenthood or whatever. But you know, I mean, I've been tattooing long enough that I've seen a whole lot of these people come back and do another round, and that excitement and of having like a honeymoon with getting tattooed, and they're all about it, and they're ready to deal with the pain, and they're all of a sudden one of your best sitters again. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm. That's one thing about this break that I've had. I mean, by the time I get it, it will be over a year, and that will definitely be the longest I've gone since I've started this. So I'm hoping that the break has allowed my body to tolerate it more. Because you know, one year I did 108 hours in 1 year, and that last tattoo that I got done, that took the longest to heal. And I think that was just my body saying, "That's enough. What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, when we get tattooed, I think in some ways we're sort of making a deal with our body, saying, "Okay, yeah, you got to help me get through this because I really want this thing, right?" And then I'll give you the break you deserve afterwards.
I abuse my body. I don't give it very much break. I think that's why my body started hating me. Because I've just tortured the living shit out of it the past 9.5 years.
Yeah, well, there's different ways to torture yourself, you know. For me, it's sleep deprivation and overwork, you know, late night caffeine and just wanting to keep stuff done, and that's bad too.
Yeah, my situation with my son, he's 24-hour care, so yeah, sleep's a luxury around here.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for 26 years. So, but you just get used to it. And then my job, I play long hours, you can play long hours of poker. So, you can play 2 days in a row constant and not take a break and not think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder now. I'm older, but when I was younger, I could do that. Spend days playing it. Where'd Fawn go?
Yeah. Indeed. I was supposed to get tattooed in November.
I think she's switching over to. Oh, here she is. She's back.
Oh, hey, Fawn.
Oh.
I'm back. What up?
Hello.
There you are.
Squillissimo.
You know me. You know me. Woo, got me.
I'll be right back. The dogs before I.
I was waiting for Todd to call me out for smoking.
You guys want to come on? Come on.
That's producers. From the
Come on,
other.
Sarah Jane. You wanna come up here with my meeting? Come here. Come here, babies. Come here, Sarah Jane. Come here. Oh, say hi to everybody. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh,
Look at
and
that.
then I got my other weenie.
You say what are their names?
The one right here, Sarah Jane. This is Minya, my sausage dog, and then my other one, Callisto. Come here, Callisto. Get in the picture. There you are. She's a mix. She's a Sheltie cattle dog. And then the other one, come here, Mel. I got 5 dogs.
Hi.
5.
That's fat.
Come here, Mel. Come here, Melody. Come here, Mel. You get down right now, man. Come here, Mel. And this is my crazy girl, Mel. Come here, Melody. Oh. This is my special girl because I got her from a rescue, but when she was a puppy, she had parvo and survived it.
Oh, wow.
She's a survivor, aren't you, Mel? Yeah. Oh, good girl, Mel. I was worried about this one when we first got her because she was so wild because, she didn't get the normal social action as a puppy. So she was just in isolation for like 4 weeks, I guess, until she got better. And then, it was time for her to be put up for adoption and we got her, but she was so wild when we got her. But actually, she's my best behaved dog I got out of the bunch. Aren't you, Mel?
How that works.
It's funny, yeah. She's a good girl. Oh. And then I got one more other one, a little other sausage dog, but she don't want to come. You've seen her earlier. Huh. All right, girls, go lay down. Come on, go lay down. Good girls.
So how's things going over at Hyperspace? How are you feeling, Jordan?
I'm feeling good. It's the center of the back that works. So like I get these little like muscle twitches, but overall, not the worst. It sucks.
Yeah, he asked me to start here because knowing that it's the worst part.
Yeah, I liked how that worked last time.
Yeah.
Getting it out of the
I
way.
would rather get the worst part the worst spot out of the way first, and then go from there.
Mhm.
Well, otherwise, I mean, what happens is it all ends up being bad because by the time you get to the easy parts, you're already sort of tired, right? But otherwise, it's a really easy beginning, and then you get to the hard parts later in the session, and you're already tired, and it just doesn't fly.
Yeah.
No. Because Randy tattoos like a printer. So he's not jumping all over the place. I mean, he really almost goes like a printer as he's doing his tattoos. And so you're stuck at waiting until he gets to the worst spots. And the last session was it with my Godzilla piece. You know, you get up at the top of your leg right there, and that's a whole different another level of pain. You know, after a long session, I mean, we had already went 9 hours and he hit that spot.
Oh man.
Oh, I was not ready for it. I looked at him and I said, just break the skin. He goes, why? And I'm going, because you break the skin, you can use that nothing on it and I don't have to feel it no more.
Oh, I do love that nothing balm, man. That stuff is so helpful. I don't use it all the time, but I use it in the worst places if I can.
I use it, you know, after, you know, realism is an accumulation of pain.
Mhm.
You know, it's layer upon layer, you know, after towards, you know, I could do 5 hours without anything.
Mhm.
But after 5 hours, I'm bathing in it.
Yes, I feel that.
It's just accumulation of pain. It's not so much that it's any different. It's just because they're going over that same spot again and again and again. You know, it gets a bit tender.
Today's in our last hour, we're going to be numbing some areas. So, you know, we are trying to think that way.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and I appreciate our artists that do that, you know, and again, I've gone to, you know, people that know what they're doing, you know, so I'm not suffering like a lot of other people are with new artists or a guy just up and coming. And I'm not putting anyone that's up and coming down. I'm just saying experience matters in this game big time when you're getting tattooed. I mean, Alan Ramirez was only tattooing 4 years when he tattooed me. And that was definitely a different experience than, say, Randy, Boris, because he's still muddling about trying to figure out exactly what he's doing. So, and he's slower. They're slower when they're learning it.
Yeah.
But no one's as slow as Rember.
Yeah. You got a piece by Rember?
Yeah.
What do you got from him?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's on my calf.
Nice.
I thought I sent it. I thought I sent that one.
Yeah. Gabe or Sandy?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if they're with us at the moment.
Okay, if they're not there right now. But that's really cool. I'd love to see that. I love Rember's work.
Yeah, I love Rember's work too. What was funny is how I found Rember is because he wasn't really well known at the time.
There you go.
No, that's Boris's.
Oh, that's Boris's.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I didn't send it. No, I didn't send it. I don't think. Yeah, it is. That's it at the bottom one. That's it.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
Okay, I did that. I was looking at all the crazy details in the like coming out of those bone structures into her hand.
So how many hours is in that?
That's 20 hours.
Wow. Or how many sessions?
20 hours.
20 hours. It was basically 2 sessions, and then those small birds on the thing, he touched those and at Motor City, so 3. But those birds, that was 2 hours.
Well,
2 hours.
Worth it.
Yeah, I've got a
client.
client.
It is. It's every bit of worth it.
Got a client who's got a couple of both of his ribs done by Rember, And, they're 3-4 sessions for what we would consider a medium-sized piece. And, but you can tell, you can tell why. You get up really close, because I've been, working right next to these pieces. And it's very detail or refinement oriented, I mean, there's everything is healed perfectly, and all the values are balanced just right. And it takes time. It just takes time to do that.
Well, how I found Rember though I had just started getting tattooed. I was working on my first sleeve, and I went to Motor City in 2012. And there was this girl that had a back piece that Rember became famous for at that point. And I seen that piece and I was like, wow, that's just totally amazing. I gotta find out who this guy is. And I didn't find out at Motor City who he was. It wasn't until I went to Paradise that year and ran into the girl that had that back piece. And I go, who did that? And she goes, Rember. And I go, is he here? And she goes, yeah. So she takes me over there and I meet him in that. And the first thing I said is, are you free? Are you going to Motor City this coming Motor City? He goes, yeah. And he goes, are you free? He goes, yeah. And I go, how much is your deposit? He said 100. And I go, I whipped into my pocket, whipped out 100 and said, I'm your client.
Nice.
And that's how I got Rember.
Hell yeah. I would love to work out.
And when he told me, when he was saying, he goes, I'm slow, I was so new at the game. I didn't realize what it really meant.
Well.
So. But I love that tattoo. That's one of my favorite is Rember's. I absolutely love it. It looks as good as it did the day I got it. And he was only 100 an hour when I got him. Which, if anyone.
Oh, the days.
To collect from
those
somebody.
were the days, right? Yeah, well, nothing anymore for me is under 2,500 basically. So
yeah, pretty much
seriously, it's standard,
Well,
But a lot of them have gone. Pardon me?
You stop getting small pieces at a certain point, and then you figure each of these pieces is probably going to take 2 passes to really get it dialed in. So, you're looking at just 5-6 hours for 2 sessions for an average, mid-sized piece at $250 an hour. You're going to be paying $25,000-$3,000, and all that work. I mean, it's a chunk of work to get the piece done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You get people to ask questions of you that aren't used to getting tattooed in that, and I'm reluctant to tell them how much it is, because if you do, it's like they're shell shocked or sticker shocked by what you're telling them in that. But you got to tell them you pay for what you get, and it's absolutely imperative that you pay what you're gonna. If you don't think so, you're wrong, because it is. Right. You're paying for experience. You're paying for their art. They're creating art for you, so that takes time.
Yeah.
Like I try to tell people, I go, they design it, but they, that's all in part of the cost of your tattoo. But in reality, they spend a lot of time. I mean, I've seen how long Megan designs tattoos. I mean, she tattoos. Once she's done there, she's designing her tattoos for the next day or a couple days coming up, and that's an 18-hour day right there. So
it's
you
all
gotta
worth
pay, you
for it. And if the art's going to be on you forever. So in reality, it's like, nothing's expensive when that's the case. But
Well, that's
still.
that's what I try to tell people too. I mean, you got something that's going to last you forever. It's not like it's going to go anywhere. It's going to be with you forever. It's a part of you. It defines you eventually as a person, part of it. So I I just try to tell younger ones that, yes, you're going to pay, but it's worth it in the end. If you think you can get it cheaper, you can't.
Yeah. As someone who charges, I'm usually in the range of around like $200 an hour, usually like a day rate. But because of that, I mean, I'm cool with spending whatever it takes to get, the piece done that I'm getting done, because if I'm really super into it, I'm not really going to be looking at the price tag. I'm going to be looking at the piece of art. So whatever it takes to get there is the way I see it. So
That's how I looked at it when I first
year, I got to save for
when
a
I
year.
first got Well, when I first booked Randy, I knew that I'd be paying a lot more than what I had paid for previous tattoos. And, I knew that was the price I took to get that type of level of artwork. And when I got it, I was more than ecstatic. And that just was more than enough to hook me for life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I for over travel and everything and all the cost of my tattoos, I'm well over 100,000.
I was just going to ask you that question. You beat me to it. I feel like it was a couple years ago that you and I had this conversation, and you said you were in the ballpark of 100,000 then, and I was like, man, I'm right at like 50 grand, and I stopped keeping track. It seems like a crazy number, but I'm so proud of my tattoos, and I can't think of anything I'd rather spend my money on. I'm gonna have it forever.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. I like to be able to walk on a beach and show them off and have people stare at you. I like that. I can't say I don't. And I know that I'm unique versus most people when I'm out walking about. I'm definitely, people aren't seeing what I have on me every day. I mean, it's getting more and more that you see it. Like I was at the Comic-Con in Detroit, and I seen this sleeve from probably 40 feet away from me, but just because I could see that sleeve, I knew that it was quality work. So I went up to it and I looked at it and I recognized it immediately. It was Sarah Miller had done it, the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers sleeve that she did. I mean, you could tell quality work from a distance too. It's not like but that was my first really in the wild where I actually seen quality work on someone outside a convention.
Now my dog wants all my attention, Todd. She wants me to hold her like a baby.
Oh, does she now?
Yeah, come on.
Mine had decided to take a nap.
There she
Oh,
is.
look at her. Oh, she's a big girl. My buddy Jordan's got that same type of bulldog, and they're appropriately named. They like to push you around. It's hilarious.
Call them bullies. It's like she uses her weight in. She's like 1.5 feet tall, but 75 pounds. It's out of control.
That's my buddy Jordan. His George, he's like 90 pounds, and he's a strong dog. I mean, I got strong legs, but he can really push me about. And I'm like, wow. It's funny though. I like him.
He's got personality
babies.
days, man. Jordan
I love
brings his dog.
dogs. You know, they're
She bullies him. Yeah, I'm such a good sport about it, though. Lola's a bully. She's awful. Okay, go on.
I got one bully in the house. I mean, one of the dogs is a bully to the other ones, and I have to watch her, and that's my Melody, the one I said that's always good. But when it comes, she gets a burr up her ass, she'll go right after him. And you know, you got to separate dogs, you know.
Yep.
But oh no, they get along great. I love my dogs. So, when you gonna do your neck?
Me or Jordan?
You.
So I don't have any specific plans, but eventually I do want it to go like I want just cohesion between my like back and shoulders and the sides of my head. But I'll probably leave my throat open. So like I'll leave this open, but do the sides of the neck. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do like some
Just
cool
the side?
trippy acanthus sleeves or something. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe that's the idea. Acanthus sleeves wrapping up and like presenting my head. Russ, are you listening?
You know, I'm just not. I mean, again, I'm older, and it's just to me doing my neck now. It just seems so out of place for my age. If that makes sense.
If and when I do my neck, I definitely want to keep the throat open just because I think it's a nice feminine natural area. I want to keep the front of my throat open, but it's going to have to be something really graceful, and maybe, I don't know, it might not even be, I just haven't thought about it too much yet. I do imagine eventually I'll do like my suit will connect all the way around and my whole neck will be covered except for the front, but I'm not there yet. Like I'm still like kicking ideas around for my belly. I was supposed to get my belly started with Mike Cole this year, and then conventions all became a thing of the not now.
I love Mike's work.
Yeah, I think Mike's work would just be the perfect addition to the collection that I already have. I love how everything that he makes, it actually looks like it's faceted, you know, but it also looks like it's got its own energy. So there's just a lot of like vibrational things that he puts into his work that I think align with a lot of my own imagination. So I'm really worried about it though. I'm still committed to having him do my belly, but once travel is a little easier, but I feel like it's going to hurt so bad. I mean, I'm sure
My
I'll
belly
live.
did not hurt like everyone's.
You don't think so?
No, I actually thought my belly was pretty easy to deal. I mean, once you get off center of your belly, yeah, it starts getting a little more dicier, but you know, the middle part and that, no, it wasn't bad until you hit your sternum.
Oh,
and then once your sternum is, you lose all control.
Yeah, I call that
feel
the
that
soul
in the pit of your stomach.
The like solar plexus.
It is.
Like this area.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, because Megan did that bit right there. That's right there, the eye. So she's doing it. Oh, it hurt. And I was fighting her the whole time. And she just, 5 minutes into it, she looked at me and goes, okay, Todd, we can be here for 40 minutes or we can be here for 20 minutes. It's up to you. And I go, okay, I'll be good. I'll be good.
Like behind me. I keep trying to hide from it.
That sounds like something I tell my daughter almost every day. It's like, do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way?
You know, Kaya likes the hard way, though.
Megan just has a, well, yeah. Well, see, people don't realize that I did my belly button, my sternum, and my nipples in that same session.
Ooh,
Oh man, why
Okay.
would you?
What the fuck?
why? Yeah.
Because that's how it was done.
Oh man, Todd, I'm sorry for
Yep.
you. Mm.
But like I said, the stomach, and again, the belly button actually don't, it's just weird feeling. You feel it. Okay, sorry, Fawn, but a guy, you feel it in your dick. You really do. If it's a weird sensation, it almost makes you feel like you gotta, like, you know how you gotta take a piss, but it's not quite like that. It's just a weird
Just
fucking feeling.
better and all your little tubes.
Yeah, when I had my front done, Eddie Deutsch is doing it, and he's not gentle. And when we got to, close to the navel, there came a point where I just had to tell him to stop. I couldn't do it anymore. And we never really got this little blank spot in the middle of my stomach, but whatever. It's all covered with hair anyway, so who cares?
But yeah, the outside of your navel is that sucks, but inside it, it's just a weird fucking feeling. It just was. And that was the first time Megan had ever done a belly button too. So she didn't, most people just dump the black in there and just go at it, right? No, she's actually trying to tattoo it like you would tattoo other parts. So, but again, it didn't bother me. It just felt weird. The parts that hurt the most were the sternum and my nipples. And then the nipple part was, that's insane. Right in the
I
middle of
truthfully
it was the
thought
worst.
when I got my nipples done, and mine are not even fully saturated, so I have to say that
Mine aren't
first.
either.
But I very arrogantly was like, the area next to the nipple sucks, but it's not going to be that much worse. It can't be that much worse. It's only going to be a little worse. How wrong was I, Todd? How wrong was I? It's awful. Like you go from like sensitive breast tissue to like razor blades, automatic razor blades for several minutes. And then after that,
feels like
nothing
that,
hurt as bad ever again.
Right.
Oh,
No. Yeah,
Jordan's
it was.
traumatizing.
What?
I said
Yeah,
Jordan's
I don't.
traumatizing.
Oh man, Marcus Lenhard told a story about when the dude tattooed his nipple black, he went at it so hard, like this ridiculous, exaggerated. Not only are you gonna get your nipple black, but I'm gonna go as deep as I possibly. I ended up tattooing his milk duct black, and yeah, it swelled up to a C cup size for like 3 months. No, thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm glad I got small nipples. I got buddies that got like the big pepperoni size ones. And one of my buddies got at Golden State this year, he has those. And he got it all blacked out. And plus the tip of the nipple was like, the Playtex bottle type, the real long one. Oh my God, did we make fun of him the whole time he got tattooed? We did. We just gave him shit the whole time. And Nam did it. We were just going, does that hurt? Because he was almost in tears.
I want ultrasound.
Well, it was a bad
noises I don't usually make.
Oh, I screamed, and Big Mees was standing over me when Megan was tattooing me, my nipples, and I screamed in his face. Because what else are you gonna do? You can't. It's so intense. It's like, oh fuck. I mean, that's what it was for me. And I'm going, boy, this was a stupid idea.
Seems like a great time.
A little body experience for me. I was just like outside myself, just holding on for dear life for about About 3 minutes,
But-
maybe
But
that.
from an aesthetic point of view, if you're gonna do the whole body art thing, they need to go. Because if you don't do it, they look like you got two pepperonis sitting there, and it's just
Yeah.
distracting to the artwork.
They truly look like pepperonis after that.
I just want to say for the
They don't
record,
blend
though,
into the.
that is, the nipples are the kind of place that you could probably numb like 100% really easily with a numbing product. Just for the record.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Vince,
thought about that too, and I don't know why I didn't, it was just something, brain dead, I guess, at the time, or,
The first session
but
on
I should have did that.
after my nipples, I was so traumatized that I absolutely had to pre-numb the last time that we worked on it. It was awful. Awful. And I wanted to make sure we did the nipples super early in the session. And I was at a convention. I'm topless in front of, a few people.
Yeah, I
at
remember.
A few people.
Hmm.
No big deal. Awful. It was one of those times where it's like,
Remember
I
that?
could have done like next week at the shop. Why'd I commit to doing it here? It's okay though. It's all right. I loved it. I loved the experience. I hated it, but I loved it. Step again.
So to women collectors that can go and get tattooed at conventions, my hat goes off to them, because they are the subject of every guy's view. I mean, again, guys are guys, we're pigs, but most of us that are in our body, we accept what it is. But I give my health that women that are willing to put themselves out there and get it done in front of everybody, because that's a lot.
You got to modesty aside for the sake of the tattoo. I'm not really. I mean, I am not an extrovert by any means. Not really. I should say I'm not an exhibitionist by any means. That's probably the more appropriate
Okay.
word. I'm not an exhibitionist.
Right. Something like that. People will are.
For the sake of the tattoo and making the process easier for the artists working on me, I just kind of like swallow my modesty for those moments. I feel like I need to just put it on the back burner because it's only going to make things more awkward for all of us. It's kind of like the littlest sacrifice I can make for the sake of the quality of the project is to just like swallow that modesty and get it done. Being timid and shy is only going to drag the process out longer. But
The reason I say that I give women credit is because when I was at Motor City, this girl complained because she's getting her ass tattooed at the convention. I mean, she made the conscious choice to do that in the first place, knowing that there's going to be a crowd around her, right?
Mhm.
So why is she bitching that people are around watching her get tattooed? You know that this is a convention. You're right in the middle of the high traffic area, and you're complaining that people are stopping and watching you getting tattooed.
Mhm.
I thought that was the stupidest thing I heard out of someone that should know what the process is. I mean, this girl wasn't like she wasn't not tattooed. I mean, she had a lot of work on her, and
Mhm.
she's complaining about her ass being out and she's getting tattooed. I just sort of thought that was hilarious.
Maybe that's a way of letting everybody know that she's not an exhibitionist. And I don't know.
Yes, guys.
Yeah, just so you all know, this is not what I would do normally.
Well, everyone knows that. I mean, we know that the process, I mean, anyone that's been through this understands that's it. We have to get, we're all half naked anyways when we're getting tattooed. So you accept the fact of what you're doing, and especially in a public setting. I mean, if you're uncomfortable in that setting, then you shouldn't be in that. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because you're definitely going to be exposed in the convention.
Russ
and
tattooed.
And the reason I said that is because Fawn, I mean, that whole session at House City, I mean, you were out there for everyone to see. But again, it was just a process. When I was watching you, it was all just the process of what you were getting.
Yep.
It was amazing. I mean, I like that how your chest is. It looks great.
Thank you. Actually,
Nice piece.
I wore a tank top today to show in case it came up. Oh, look, we can show it off.
Yeah. Yep.
oh,
Now yeah, there's guys. Yep. Wow.
Warm and cool.
I like how it just melts in there really well. Now, that was a collab, right? Your chest part right there, right? That was.
Yeah, all of it. So Ty and Adam collaboratively drew the sketch for it, and then they collaboratively just kind of like worked in tandem all over it. They trade sides, and
Yep.
so it's all like a little bit of a mix of both of them.
Yeah, I like Ty. Ty's got some amazing work too. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix of him and Adam for sure. And then like this
Jay
bone
Grimm.
structure here, this is actually like what the nipples are made out of on mine. So there's like a little bit of pink still showing through when they pulled like some pink colors into the tattoo around it. So my nipples are like both tattooed and kind of camouflaged in instead of being blacked out. So I think that was kind of a thoughtful way to handle it and also not torture me. It was a rough couple of days, man.
But again, if you're gonna collect
in my chest too.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like the same colors and textures, but a nautilus. Alien nautilus. Okay. Dressed again.
The beauty about biomech is that it's allowed for so many different artists to showcase so many different styles of it. That was the problem. I could never settle on one person. I mean, Guy was really one of the first ones, and I regret that I never actually tried to get something from him. But there were so many to choose from. Carson Hill does some amazing work. And when he got hurt, he was one of the ones I was going to try to get, but he got hurt and he couldn't do anything. And then Ty, I like Ty's work. I like Paco D, because his is more organic. Yeah, his is more organic than mechanical, and I always like that.
I always call
in biomech.
Beautifully grotesque.
It is. It really is amazing.
Yeah, no, Paco, one of his things is his clientele are people that come back again and again. He's one of those artists who is good at nurturing that, making sure people get the required number of. Why it's got such a beautiful, like saturated, smooth, flawless kind of look.
Yeah, I've seen when I was at Puerto Rico convention, there was, I think, 3 of his suits that he had done down there. And that was really the first time I got to see his work in person and that. And I just was like, because, you see it in magazines all the time, but up close, it was like, wow. The dedication that those guys did, because it was their whole suit, everything. I mean, it was the hours that they did. And that's what I tell everyone, that if you're going to do it, and if you're serious about doing it, bigger is better.
That kind of goes back to what Guy was saying earlier about how Adrian Lee does his consultations, where it's like, from the start, consider how much of your body you want to have covered, and then start, if not planning out every piece, at least plan out balance and plan out, how much coverage and where. and then work towards that. And then the ideas kind of come.
Well, that's where younger collectors now that are getting tattooed have the advantage over, like, when I was growing up, you've seen a couple tattoo magazines here and there of tattoos and that. It wasn't a mainstream thing. But, I always liked tattoos from when I was a kid. But again, I live in an area that is so rural that the first tattoo artist that was the only tattoo artist we had in the town at the time, his name was Fast Eddie. And
Did he play pool?
and all he did was just traditional. What? No, but that's what his name was. And Fast Freddy, I meant. And but he was just doing traditional. And no offense to people that like traditional, but if I was going to get a tattoo, I wanted something different. And I knew that there was other things out there, but I couldn't get exposed to it. It took a while. And that's the thing. Today, all the kids can see what's out there. I mean, Instagram basically is everyone's portfolio anymore. So it's not like you can't go and find an artist that's good to suit your needs and research what you need to do. And most of them can do that. I know a few guys that, like Zach, he's thought his stuff out really well. And then there's another guy that I know, Juice. He was older when he started it, but he's got Dimitri Simon. I mean, AD Pancho, Silvano, Robert Hernandez. I said Dimitri Simon, right? Because he's got a whole sleeve by him, and he's got a huge. His back was done by Victor Portugal. He's got a whole chest. His whole front, half of his front is Carlos Torres. Yeah, he's just got an amazing thing. And how he started was working with Dimitri. His first tattoo was his sleeve. 8 days with Dimitri. And he started off, and that's how he did it. But me growing up, you just seen, it was bits and pieces, and you never thought it out, like, and I guess that's my biggest mistake is that I never, if I had to redo it again, I would go bigger. Less pieces, bigger pieces. A much more theme type of thing. When I realized that I could afford anything that I wanted for tattoos, when I first started doing this, I went crazy because I can do it.
Isn't that a dangerous thing when you realize you can afford the cream of the crop and the best in the world, and it's just a matter of like getting their attention and then waiting your turn?
Yep. I don't want to be arrogant about it.
Something that happens with young artists is, they get to a point where they're part of a tattoo community. They have coworkers, and they're like, "Hey, let's swap work." And they get excited. And before you know it, you've filled up both arms with stuff that's, pretty good, but it's mostly younger artists, learning on each other, and they're going to get better.
Yeah.
And it ends up not being, I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of the curses of being in this profession is it's hard not to fill up too fast.
Yeah, it takes restraint.
Yeah,
definitely takes restraint.
I definitely had to be patient. Took a lot of patience. I wanted to be covered, but I had to be patient.
I went into this just to get in a few really good pieces. That's what my all intention was, but I couldn't stop. It was like every new one was like, wow, I want more of that. It looks amazing, and I just like doing it. I mean, part of the thing of the process is after you're done with it, you have a high from getting tattooed. All the endorphins in that. rushing in that. I like that feeling after I'm done getting tattooed. It's a pleasant
Absolutely.
feeling.
There's so many things coming together at the end. You know, you're not feeling pain, but you're also just so stoked that you don't have to feel any more pain, and just a huge endorphin rush from just it being over.
Also, there's a rush from that sense of vision fulfillment. You know,
oh yeah,
you push to do something,
Yes.
you did it, you challenge, and you get to this artist, and you know, you got through it, and so you've got this physical, mental, emotional, almost spiritual kind of high at the end of that. And of course, you're going to have visions for more. Of course, you know, especially if you're getting tattooed at conventions. What are the odds that you're not going to find a new artist you've never heard of before? You're going to meet them. You're going to come to the artist that's working on you at the booth. Yeah, and you're going to be like, hey, let me see shit. So, you know, that's going to happen. So even if you started out thinking, oh, I'm just going to, just one, just a couple. That's sort of silly, you know. And that's actually,
I felt like that when I did my collab with Anam and Megan, and the sense of accomplishment that I finished that. I was able to sit for it. It's a huge piece on my ribs. Yeah, I felt really proud of myself after doing that. That I could actually endure that whole month, that much pain to get what I wanted. That was a big thing for me. It was a huge sense of accomplishment.
I mean,
I'm sure Fawn with her back.
Yeah, I look forward to
once
those
your back was done.
Yeah, the moments of accomplishment when it's finally like I've made the commitment both like spiritually and financially, and then the 2 years of traveling back and forth, and then the 2 days back to back, and all the times that I healed and recovered, and all the growth and all the life experiences in between, like when it all culminates and it's finally wrapped up, it's like it's not just like a milestone for the tattoo, but it's like this milestone with my whole like evolution of me. You know, that's a period of life that's now like buttoned up and on to the next. So like as soon as my back was finished, like, well, I've got these armpits. Now the next milestone is completing the torso. So,
well, I said when I started this, I wouldn't do my hands, but that was always a loose thing for me that I wouldn't do my hands. It was more to appease my mom, I guess, you know, because she was freaking out when I kept on getting all these tattoos and that. My mom's not pleased with it.
Not pleased.
So I sort of tried to appease her, right? And but you know, there was this Jack did actually more than just the hands. He did the whole front of the arms and that. And I said, seen that, and I was like, I want that. I want something on my hands like that. I thought that was really cool, and that's when I made my commitment. I was going to do my hands, and I took a lot of shit from people who are going, you said you never do your hands. And I go, well, yeah, I said I probably wouldn't do my hands. I didn't say actually I wouldn't. I just said I probably would. So, and like my neck is a definite no. But there's a but in there because I always said nothing above the neck. But there's a part of me that probably thinks I'll do my dome. I will do my head. I just feel that I have to do at least that. No neck, but I can do my dome. But my neck, I just don't want it.
I used to say I would never do anything above the collar. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to do my head, but I'm going to keep it behind the hairline. And then that turned into like, well, now I've got to connect my shoulders to the tattoos on my head. Like they can't just be floating there. So it evolves. It happens.
Yeah, but the back of the neck, I consider that more your back than your neck. If you do the back of your neck, because your hair still covers it up.
Already.
I don't feel like neck tattoo really.
What's that? You cut out a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the thing about like getting your hands tattooed, you know, people see that you're tattooed, but it's not the same kind of distraction as having a neck tattoo, right?
Exactly. But
now, I've got a young daughter, school age, and you know, every now and then there's that trip to the principal's office or whatever, although she's being homeschooled right now. But you know, there were quite a few of those principal office visits for a while there, and I remember thinking, even though I'm sitting there with completely visible tattoos, I don't hide any of it, you know, and they know what we do for a living, and it was always a respectful relationship, but I still felt glad that I didn't have a neck tattoo at the time, because I just thought it would be distracting from the conversation. It's not about whether somebody is judging you for having a neck tattoo so much as it is about being distracted by it and not seeing your face because your neck is too interesting, you know? That's kind of what stopped me, and I will get there, you know. I think when daughter is an adult, and you know, I got the long-term vision. I don't feel like I have to be done with my bodysuit at any given time. In fact, my plan is to never be done, just like my plan is to never retire, you know. Slow down, you know, come to a point where you don't have any skin left and you're just working on existing stuff. But I still like the experience. So no need to ever declare it finished.
no, I give you that. I mean, I do like the process of planning a tattoo, going through the whole talking with the artist again. And again, I never really had any ideas for my tattoos. I got in there and I said, do what you want. And that's how it's been for me. I mean, I asked for, like Boris, I said, I wanted something like an Ice Princess and that's what he did that. You know, I maybe come up with a couple themes because they ask, you know, they can't just create something for you out of nothing. Megan's about the only one that has done that for me. But again, it's always up to the artist interpretation. I don't give them much input. I have never changed the design of my tattoo, not once. I've always been happy with what they presented in front of me. I've never felt that it was a subpar effort on their part. I always thought they went above and beyond what was called for. So, but I always thought that it was, from the beginning, is that you just let them have free reign and it's better for you if they're into it, you know. I mean, I find it hard to be motivated. I you know, artists are working day in, day out, and it's got to be hard for them to come up with inspiration all the time.
Well, honestly, that's one of my
I don't know.
Is the fact that I'm going to be throwing some curveballs. I mean, yeah, I don't mind a little bit of that just do your thing kind of thing. But even then, if you were to come to me and say, just do your thing, I'd say, well, you know, I'd like you to show me some of your favorite pieces I've done, because I do a lot of different things and I just want to get a sense of your taste, you know, and I'll come up with something completely original after that. But I especially like it, though, when people come to me and say, yeah, I want a different twist on something you do before. You know, I see you do this thing, but what if you were to do this with it? And I'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that on my own, but now that you brought it up, that's a great idea. I like that, you know, and in fact, I think it would be very hard for me to evolve as an artist if I didn't have a certain amount of that in my life.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I've given input on every point of it, but again, I have never specifically said or been picky about exactly what needed to be done. I mean, I've seen I know this one guy made Boris redraw 8 freaking times. And it's like, I can't, I'm not, I trust what I tell them what I want and I trust their interpretation of it. I guess I should have been more specific in that when I was saying it.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know what? The thing is once somebody's made you redraw something 8 times, it's hard to have confidence when you're working on it. The whole time you'd be like, well, are they going to be happy with this? You know, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. And, you know, I definitely am happy to make revisions if they make sense. And there's been a few times where, I mean, I got to admit, I was like, part of me is like, no, I don't want to fuck with this. It looks good. But, you know, then I'd stop and really listen and say, okay, I see your point. I see your point. Let's try it. And then by the end of the day, I was definitely very grateful for, you know, the fact that I had to stop and do something that wasn't just my habitual way of handling the matter, and instead really consider my client and consider their taste and their vision, because sometimes they're coming to me with something they're really hoping for. And I want to know what that is. This is their tattoo. Is they're hoping that I want to deliver.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like I just go to the artist and say, you know, do your thing. I mean, you know, I do have.
Right, you're giving them.
I give them an idea, but you know, it's after that I let them do it. I'm not an artist. I pick them for a specific reason, their style.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think the thing is you may just have a really good sense, like when you approach an artist, you know you want their work, you know you like what they do, you have a good sense of what to ask them for that's going to give you their look, you know, and so what? There's no need to have revisions, right? Because they're already serving now.
Yep. You know, I mean, I got a couple pieces.
I'm hanging in there.
You like readjusting, trying to find comfortable. How are you doing?
Me?
Ooh.
Yeah. How was it on the front line?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's bad. I don't know. Back teen sets in pretty fast, and we work an area, it hurts, and then we back teens it, and then it doesn't hurt.
I also think that
Then it's a new
Jordan
spot.
benefiting from this distraction of co-hosting this podcast.
I truly am. It does. It's helping time fly by and listen to you guys, especially.
That's the one thing that I like about conventions is that your friends are there and they can sometimes just give you a distraction from what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're at a studio, you don't bring your friends with you. You're there with the artists and that. And, you know, the way I get tattooed, when I start hurting, I clam up. I just try to get into my little space and just try to work through it. I can't, you know, unless I've got friends around me that can distract me from it, you know. I wallow in my pain when I'm in a studio.
That's how I feel. Like I kind of clam up when I'm in pain, but it's nice having you guys and having this whole thing to kind of talk.
I've definitely noticed that across the session, there's like an ebb and a flow. Like in the beginning, people are going to talk a little bit more. They're getting into the pace, and then eventually they're just slowing down at the talking, and they're going to go inward a little bit to deal with it. At the end, towards the very end.
That sounds like me exactly.
Yeah, but that last hour, I feel like it's my job to bring that conversation back and try to just keep them engaged. And it's been a little harder now that we're, you know, not encouraging people to bring friends to the studio anymore and that kind of thing. Because then, you know, it's harder to keep those distractions going. But sometimes it's worth it, you know. I mean, it's like, you know what, this person's going to get through the session a lot better if they've got somebody here to provide moral support.
There's magic in choosing the right tattoo buddy to go. You can't take just anybody to an all-day tattoo session. You got to have like a teammate, somebody who's going to get you snacks, Advil, fruit roll-ups.
Right. Thanks,
Red
Emily.
Bull.
and who isn't going to get bored and restless where you feel like, oh shit, now I have to entertain them while I'm going through this.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be kind of a pain for the person going through a tattoo to have to sit and worry about someone else, being super antsy and stuff. But I know you're sitting through a tattoo with other people, you tend to get a little antsy and you realize, oh shit, it's like watching paint dry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, Puerto Rico, I got distracted with Megan was tattooing my back, and we were in Puerto Rico. It was a party. We were all having a good time in that, and I didn't sit very well for that session at Puerto Rico. There was too many things going on in my vision that I couldn't get into that space of getting tattooed. I wanted to be with them and just not in the moment of getting tattooed. So we did about 6 hours, and Megan was like, I looked at her, I'm going, I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
I've tapped probably 3 times out of my whole time getting it. One, I tried it when I shouldn't have. My back was hurting me, and that was a mistake. And Megan, I've tapped with her twice. Twice. And the only reason is because I know that I can go back to her, and it was never going to get done that first session anyways, but I wasn't. Megan will keep going on and on if you let her. She'll go as long as you're able to do it, she'll keep doing it. And so you sort of have to stop her.
Mm-hmm. It's good when you've got that passionate that the work just flows, and it's almost a chore to stop the process. That's when you found the right artist and the right project for that artist. When it becomes like the meditative thing for the artist doing it.
I've had, let me think. How many multiple sessions have I had where they've done Butcher, we did the hockey player. It took longer than 1 session, and the only reason why was because we were at Empire State and they shut everything down at 7 that day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You expect to be going on and on, right? We started at 3 and we were done at 7. We only did 4 hours into it. So, and they weren't letting you stay. So, we had to go back and do it again. That was a forced session. Boris was too, because I got tattooed in Vegas and at Starlight, and they closed at 10, and they didn't let him stay longer. So I went back for a 2-hour session the next day. So that was a forced 2-session one. But Megan's with Insatiable, the first one we did, that was 2 sessions. We knew it was going to be 2 sessions.
Do you prefer to do 2 days back to back, or do you like to do a day, heal, another day?
The reason those were 2-day sessions was they were much bigger tattoos than what I usually get. So it's more about the size than it actually was about Rember was more than 2 sessions. Again, if you're going over a tattoo a second time, that second pass, it hurts more than the first time you get it done. So I guess no, not really.
I just wonder, for some of my big ones, I feel like if I had to choose between 2 people working on me at the same time all day or 2 days back to back, I think I would choose 2 people at once for 1 day.
And that's the best way. Yep. I would do Megan and Anam again on a big project.
Sorry, there was craziness going on outside.
I would definitely do, if I had the space to do another session like that again, I would do 2 people at once and get it all done with.
Yeah, it was really nice getting a huge chunk of my leg done the way that I did with Russ and Tofi. It was definitely incredibly brutal after like hour 7, but they were like both working in tandem nonstop the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point where I just didn't want to be touched, like not even like people comforting me. It was just like, don't touch me. I'm overstimulated. This has been too much for a day. But then the next day I was fine. I feel like afterwards my body wasn't quite as exhausted as when I do 2 days back to back. I feel like.
Well, and Am and Megan, we did that at Solon Studios and they did a time lapse on it. And so they had to set that up. We didn't really get started until late. Okay, I had booked my flight the next day because I figured, we would get in there around noon and we get it done and I'd be able to sleep normal and that. Well, this tattoo didn't get done until 4:00 in the morning. My flight left at 7:00. So I was exhausted. I had to run to the hotel, pack my stuff, and run to the airport after it. So I didn't really I had that little relaxation after getting it done in that. And, we did it. I'm proud of that. But then I had to make the mad dash to the airport.
That you're at the airport and you're getting on and off planes and changing like elevation and pressure while your body is swelling.
Yep.
I bet that was incredibly uncomfortable.
It was. I had to take off my Sanoderm when I landed because I had a layover in Houston. It hurt so bad that I had to take my Sanoderm off because I knew I was only going to be a couple hours before I got home and I could reapply it. So I was okay with doing that, but I had to take it off because it hurt so bad being on. Like you said, the swelling.
I can only imagine. So every time I've gotten tattooed, I travel a lot to get work done, but I drive. And I think one of the variables is actually like going in and out of the airport, being around all the people with the new wound, and then the pressure change. I just feel like, especially on my lower leg, I realized how much of a variable swelling can be for some sessions. Not all, but occasionally it's really a challenge just to deal with swelling and to be able to function. So I can only imagine how much worse that would be getting on a plane immediately after. And no sleep.
Well, I can tell you because Randy did my right leg, the outside of my calf at Inked Out, New Jersey, and I flew out the next day. And he was telling me, don't walk. You need to not be walking and that. And I'm looking at him, I got to fly home tomorrow. He's going, oh, you're going to hurt there. So we get there and I get on the plane. Well, that was the second one I got. For some reason, I forgot how getting up from sitting and the blood rushes to that tattoo and that throbbing you get.
Throb, yes. Oh.
Yep. Well, when I landed in Detroit and had to get up from that, it took 8 minutes for me to be able to get up, let that throb subside, and be able to walk off that plane. And again, you normally it's only maybe a minute that you have to wait for that throb to go away. You could but it took me 8 minutes before I could
fully
move.
believe you.
Oh, it was throbbing so bad. I actually thought it was going to explode. I'm like, seriously? And that's what no one tells you this shit.
Sometimes the swelling after the tattoo hurts worse than the tattoo process. Like I've been like 4 hours post tattoo session. And that's when my ears start ringing. And that's when I start getting tunnel vision. It's like, I've already had a plate of spaghetti. Where is the shock coming from? It's like, oh, the throb that I'm trying to ignore.
Well, what I laugh about it is that, yeah. You know, as you got older, people started telling you more and more stuff, what to expect as you got tattooed. But, you know, you go into this so new that these things happen to you and you're like, what the fuck is up with this? You know, I'm grateful that I was able, what I was grateful for is that I met people that were collecting at conventions early on. I mean, I got the first tattoo convention I ever got tattooed at was Hell City. And I met a couple people there, and they were able to tell me what to expect. And I'm grateful for that, for them even telling me what to expect. Because, you know, you go into this pretty blind, you know, not expecting how it is. And the biggest thing about tattoos is, sure, it gets hurting, but the worst part for me is healing them. You know, it's that whole week of it healing, the itching, make sure you don't hit it against something, because I've done that with a fresh tattoo. And I actually, on my where Megan did my daisy face on the inside of my leg, I had a piece of skin actually tear away. And it left yeah, because I hit it on the edge of my futon, and it was so tender or whatever, it just took a slice out of my skin.
I'd be sad.
So
I'd be sad. It hurts too. It hurts so bad. It hurts
well,
so
that's
bad.
just it. You gotta healing your feet were the worst. The right one was easy to heal. The left one took 3 friggin' weeks. It was so swollen. It wasn't even infected. For whatever reason, my left one swelled unreal. I don't know why, but it just did.
Really bad too. I wonder if there's a connection with that. If like that's a normal thing that the left foot tends to swell more, like maybe something with the circulatory system. Because my right foot, I didn't have a problem with swelling at all. My left foot, I couldn't even put like my most comfy pair of tennis shoes on. I couldn't.
No.
It was like slippers was it. That's all I could do.
Well, even standing on it in the first week was like a living hell. I mean, it was worse than a throb. I don't know why, but it just was. And the right one, I tattooed my right foot first. And because it was so easy, so quickly, I booked the other one with Hollywood again 2 months later. Go back there, and I'm almost riding out of the chair because it's like, why is this hurting so much more?
Mine
it was torturous. Both your feet hurt?
Mine were done a few years apart, but my right one never swelled at all. It's been worked on a few times now. But my left one, it was just a bear, and it's not even nearly as saturated. You know, there wasn't even like more trauma to it, but it swelled and swollen.
It was. Well, the other thing is the difference between the healing is I used Sanoderm on the right one, and then Inkies came out with that spray that you put on it, and it covers it up like a liquid bandage in that, and you just leave it on, and then as it heals, it will flake off. I used that, and I don't know if that was a mistake or whatever. I mean, it healed beautiful, but as it was healing, it hurt so bad. It felt like it was pulling your skin, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
because it's a liquid bandage. It's not really flexible. What's up? Hey, enough. There's no one here.
Our dogs
But,
are running the show again.
No, yeah, I think they heard my wife and they're just waiting. I don't know. All right, girls, what you want? You need out? Do you need out? Come here, Amelia.
I'm not sure what time we're at. We're at almost 3:00, Todd. We're almost 3 hours deep in this thing. Do you think maybe we could wrap it up, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe talk about it next week?
I'm
Gonna come back and talk with us again next week?
Sure.
Okay.
You know what, though?
All right.
If you want, we should try to get Chuck on this.
Chuck Deasy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to have a talk with him for sure.
Because Chuck, he's been with me a couple times when I got tattooed and that. It's always been a good time with Chuck. He was with me when Megan tattooed me the first time in that. And that was we had a lot of fun that session. It was a good time.
Awesome. We'll reach out to Chuck this week and see if he'll be
but
available
Chuck's
for
got-
next Thursday.
Yeah, Chuck's got 20 years, of collecting. I mean, he hasn't been like me trying to rush and get it done. He's taken his time and he's got a lot of good work on him too. And
Yeah, he's one that I've been watching for years. His collection is beautiful and it's eclectic. I know Nick Baxter did one of his sleeves, right? Or did he do both?
no, he just did the one, and then Chuck. Jeff Gogay did the other one.
Okay, all right.
The puzzle one is the one that Nick did, and then the Asian inspired one is the one that Jeff did.
Excellent. We should definitely see if he's available next week or the following week.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Okay, cool. Cool. Jordan, are you still around?
I'm over here. Yeah, I'm walking around.
Okay, you stretching those legs out.
I'm
You
here.
gonna come back and sign off with us?
Yep.
Hey, you can turn around and let's see your back.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
see the so far.
Yeah, let's see it.
Hey, give me a second and I'll feature the.
Can y'all see?
Okay,
There we go. Now we can see it.
Hold real still for us. Let it focus. That's looking beautiful. I don't know if guys are
Yeah,
on
it
there,
is.
but great job, guys.
It is.
That middle is rich and saturated.
I like how he's got that middle. Yeah, that's just gonna look fantastic.
Jordan, you're gonna love it. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth every minute of it. Yeah, for sure.
Podcast has been nice doing this while getting tattooed. It definitely helps.
I'm glad it helps.
Stoked that you came on here, Todd. This was a good conversation.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. Absolutely did. It was a bit of a rush trying to get here to do it because of my phone. That was an ordeal.
Right.
Whoops.
But yeah. So
yeah, we had a time in Illinois, so I thought we were later, and then I was like, oh shit, it's starting like now.
It's okay. It's all right. It all came together. We got to talk to Gabe a little bit here about his collection at the very beginning, which is kind of cool. So next week we'll try and have Todd back on again, and maybe Chuck if he's available.
Yep.
And do you want to throw our handles out there, Jordan, or should I do it?
Go to tattoocollecting.com, first of all. First place you got to go. Second of all, check out my page, Jordan Rookus Tattoo. And then Fawn, where are you going to find Fawn at?
Fawnbaker.com. But also, be sure to check in with all of these events that are going on through Reinventing throughout the week. I think almost every day of the week now, just about, they've got something worthwhile going on. They've got different drawing groups, drink and draws. So if you followed us this long into the video, keep following all the other ones.
Right? Go to reinventing it. But tattoo
Oh,
collecting,
yeah.
JordanRookustattoo.com, FawnBaker.com.
Yep.
Big art.
All of our info's on tattoocollecting.com. Okay, guys. Well, we'll talk to you next week. Jordan,
That was awesome.
Yep. Bye, Fawn. Bye, Jordan. Bye, Gabe. Guy. You guys all take care. And